Do I mind World Cup caliber football on television at 8:30 in the morning? No. Ladies and gentlemen, no, I do not.
I do, because you're angry.
I am.
You're in there hitting stuff, and yeah.
I don't understand why Jordan P. Folk's not on this team. The guy's one of the hottest strikers in Bundesliga right now. We've got very little pressure inside 15 yards of the Japanese goal. We got guys who are giving up on runs, and we're missing passes through to them. We got a back line that I guess thinks that they're just world class in possession of the football, and we're spending more time standing around across the back line than we are getting into the Japanese third.
All right, I'm a little confused on something. I need your help. So so this matters, right?
It depends on what you mean by matters.
Okay, so this factors into like World League or whatever it is. This you get points for this or something, or is this just like a backyard?
No, it's an exhibition.
It's a backyard football game.
It's a warm up. It's a warm up for the World Cup. I mean, no, it's
you get mad about a backyard football game.
It's a preseason Chiefs game. Do you talk smack about preseason Chiefs games?
No, because it's preseason.
Then why?
Yeah, it's preseason because it doesn't mean anything.
Right, but it does matter.
All you hope is that your guys get in there to get some reps and they stay healthy. Okay, but still, why you get mad about it?
Because this is the part where you're supposed to be putting your best foot forward, supposed to be finding your stride. I don't like the roster makeup that Greg Berhalter has called. I don't think he called our best players. I think he called the players that he thinks play his style best, as opposed to the guys who are lighting up the world stage right now. I think our back line, which is our biggest weakness, is getting absolutely run by a good but not great Japanese team. I think that if we play this football against England on Black Friday, we're going to lose by 4 goals, and I'm not happy about it.
You're complaining about a coach bringing in players that fit his style of play? Why is it okay in football but not okay in or basketball or baseball but not okay in soccer?
If your team had the opportunity to add Giannis Antetokounmpo to the mix, and the coach went, no, he doesn't really play my style of basketball, you'd be like, what? No. The style of basketball is the best basketball you can play, and that's Giannis Antetokounmpo.
So, New Jersey won the NBA championship last year, right?
No.
Well, they brought in the best players, right?
Did they? How'd Kyrie work out?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I mean, according to your formula, that should have worked, right?
I appreciate your out the gate contrarianism. I do, and the effort you're making here.
What day is it?
It doesn't matter. It ends in a Y.
No. It's a day where I'm going to be punished. Am I ever happy on a day when I'm going to be punished? Just because I'm not wearing anything doesn't mean I'm not going to be punished.
I get it.
And so when I pay, so does everyone else. That's just I think that's a natural thing in life. I think someday, if ever you were to lose and have to pay up on something.
I hate this week's lineup of games. I hate it. I did it to myself, but I hate it.
Well, I haven't seen it, so.
That's right. I didn't send it to you.
It's all right. We got time.
I still want you to have it. Ladies and gentlemen, by the way, I do have a very important announcement to make on the show. I told you at the end of the show yesterday that Lonzo would be performing Boys to Men End of the Road as his punishment today. I am going to both disappoint you and spare you at the same time. After yesterday, so yesterday evening, the Great One and I had a StreamYard call, a Zoom call, because we got asked by Jeff Nowak, who is the host of Inside Black and Gold, the Odyssey New Orleans Saints podcast, to jump on his pod and talk Panthers Saints with him, which we did. And then he came on our pod, of course, the Views from Mint Street podcast, the podcast for all Carolina Panthers fans. And we talked with him. Well, before we got going, Zoe was like, dude, you may have to carry a bit of this pod. My voice is blown. And I'm like, why? And he goes, because I've been practicing Boys to Men. Boys to Men. I was like, is it that bad? He's like, my voice is out. What's that? You practice for what? Like an hour trying out that song?
I didn't have an hour. No, I didn't get home till really late. So, but like 3 times and it was done.
Yeah.
But you know what? It wasn't really a punishment. I feel bad that you felt sorry for me and you decided to pick a song that I would like when that wasn't the point of the punishment. The point of the punishment was I have to sing something I don't like. And so, I felt slighted in a way that you picked something I liked because it's like a pat on the head. I don't need a pat on the head.
Bless your heart.
Yeah. I lost, okay? And since I lost, I should have to pay dearly. That's how that works. It makes punishment dreaded by people. Not, here you go, have a song you like. That's not how that should work.
That I picked that song less because of how it was going to make Zoe feel and more because how I felt about it. But after some consideration and discussion yesterday, I have decided to switch up the song on Lonzo. And because Lonzo is the one that has repeatedly said, hey, it's supposed to be a punishment, supposed to be a punishment, supposed to be a punishment. I have decided now that we are going to pick a song that is more in line with what I believe will feel like a punishment for Lonzo. There was the thought of doing Britney's Hit Me Baby One More Time, but Lonzo said instinctively on the air when that got brought up yesterday, I'll kill that song, which is it's not what we're looking for.
Which I practiced it, and I'd kill that song.
Good.
Yeah, so
that's not the song we're doing.
Right.
The song that has been put in its place is a song by a group
that really stinks. They're horrible. They're not really rock.
By a group that Lonzo does not like, that I very much do.
No, I don't care. Count it. Despise is the word. Despise, because they are air supply disguised as a rock band. The only good song they ever put out is Riding the Storm Out, and it's just because of the sirens.
That group, of course, is REO Speedwagons. REO Speedwagon. And REO Speedwagons.
I like the Speedwagons. REO Speedwagons.
REO Speedwagons.
There goes those REO Speedwagons.
Take It on the Run will be the song that Zoe will perform for us, performance style, later on in the show.
I thought about blow drying my hair and just wearing a vest with no shirt under it. But I have to record some gentlemen later. And so my hair won't go down if I do that. So they already make fun of me. I'm not giving them any more fuel.
So while I was very much looking forward to Boys to Men, after much deliberation and discussion, we have come to the conclusion of a couple of things. Number one, it's a tougher song to sing than I remember it being. Number two, if Lonzo was to perform that song, Lonzo would end up not having a voice the rest of the day. And while I don't particularly care because at that point this show would be over, apparently he's got other voice work he's got to do later in the day.
Yeah, including a show tomorrow.
Right.
And if I can't talk, it will be a problem tomorrow because I'm, the guy on that show. And I mean, I love all the guys on the show, but I'm like the lead of the show. And if I can't do the show doesn't happen. So, yeah. Don't think by any means that this is an easy song to sing either, because first of all, it stinks. Second of all,
does not stink. It's a great song.
It stinks. I hate it. I hate the subject matter. It doesn't start with music. It starts right out with singing. Horrible singing. So I should be able to match that. But each time I practice, which has only been a couple of times, I've felt not good about myself. So I'm not going to feel good about myself later. And you know what that is? That's what a punishment's supposed to feel like.
It is. Lonzo, a vehemently anti-REO Speedwagon guy.
My head still hurts from the man bun. I am not joking. And I haven't been
so
able
dramatic.
to wash that orange off my skin yet.
So dramatic. So dramatic. So we will get our performance of...
Hey, you don't know my pain. I'm serious, man. It hurts right here, right now.
We will
it
get our
does.
performance of Take It on the Run by REO Speedwagon later. You know what I did not, and you may know this, though. This is more off the air, but we're already on the air. Can we play a karaoke track and not get kicked off the stream, or will we need to mute the stream for that?
Here's what you do. You don't talk about it. You just do it.
Okay.
So,
right,
so
we catch that YouTube strike because we're already sitting on 1. We get 3, the channel gets banned.
I will tell you that you shouldn't have pointed out what we were going to do and how we were going to do it because that draws attention to it. It's better to just do it. That's one thing.
No, that's not why you get flagged. I mean, it is. You can be flagged.
No. I'm just
strike.
trying to help you for future here. You just
I
don't.
got it.
You don't talk about it on the air. But the other thing is, I've never been flagged for it before.
Okay, that's all I need to know.
But you know what? Here's what you get on the stream, just in case, because Rob's worried. Because we've had quite a few strikes lately, and we don't want to lose the thing. You get it a cappella on the stream. If you want to hear it with music under it, you get.
God, that might be worse.
Oh, it will be.
That might be worse.
It will be a whole lot worse.
Oh man,
you think that's bad? Wait till you hear it on the podcast, because there can't be music on the podcast.
Yeah, that might be worse.
Or I could just cut off that part and not put it on the podcast, since
you
it'll
can
be at
just
the end.
insert the music onto the podcast.
No. We can't put the music on the podcast.
Oh, that's true. It's the same thing.
Yeah, it is. So, so I can cut that segment, which I have no problem with it, as bad as it's going to be, off the podcast. So this is one of those things where, I don't know
We'll see.
if you want to hear it in all of its glory,
97.7 FM Greenville, 97.1 FM Spartanburg,
or the Odyssey app,
and free on the Odyssey app. That's exactly right. All right, that's coming up later on in the show. Texture says, stop giving Lonzo breaks. I'm not giving him a break. This is giving you a break.
First of all, he gave me a break yesterday when he gave me that song. You don't get, I failed. Don't give me a song I like. That's the whole point.
Yep.
He should have went. He should have went country. He didn't.
Texture said, another swerve. Is this WCW?
Might be.
All right.
Everything's a work.
A lot of stuff to get to into the show today. Speaking of Boo Box Bets punishments, our next round of picks comes up at 11 o'clock. Out of the gate at 11 o'clock. We will do it this way. 11 o'clock, we make our picks. The segment after, Lonzo will give us his rousing rendition of REO Speedwagon's Take It on the Run.
That way we can take a break and come back with reaction.
Correct. And that way we've got a segment of reaction from you guys before we get out of here for the week.
Wow.
Looking forward to it.
Wow. The last hour belongs to me.
Yes, indeed it does.
Yay.
Yes, indeed it does. So 11 o'clock, we will get our REO Speedwagon. 11 o'clock, we'll make our Boo Box Bets picks for the week. 11:30 or so, 11:20, we'll get Lonzo's singing REO Speedwagon's Take It on the Run as his punishment from last week. And then at 11:45, Twitter trending topics, we call it a day. Then it's Jim Rome. Then it's Mark Ryan and Diesel Offsides. Then at 7 p.m., I will be back on the call for Burns Rebels football at West Florence High School tonight, which means that while Romy and Mark Ryan are on the air, your boy will be en route to the far side of the state to bring you some football tonight. And then driving back immediately afterwards, you're all welcome.
Can't remember if Darlington comes before Florence. I think it does.
I believe that it does.
Yeah. So.
And I am thinking so. Let me tell you what my schedule was, Lonzo. My schedule was I was going to be here till like 2 getting work done, so that I don't have to work over the weekend. I was going to be here till like 2 getting work done. Then at 2 o'clock, I was going to run to the house, take care of the dog, get the gear, jump in the car, drive over. That should put me in West Florence between 5:30 and 6 o'clock with a little bit of a cushion in case there's traffic or something to be set up by 6:30 and broadcasting at 7. I think that I'm going to be out of here by like 12:15, back to the house at 12:30 and on the road at 12:45. Gives me about a 6-hour, 15-minute grace period to do the 3-hour trip, because I think I'm going to try to swing by Darlington and see it.
That's why I was mentioning, because you usually don't go somewhere without dropping by somewhere.
I'm a big fan of, there's a thing, I'm going to do that. And Darlington's on the way.
I haven't checked. There might be some battlefields on the way, too.
I'm sure that there is. Darlington's going to be priority. If I come across any more, I may hit them. I really might. I want to go to 96. You heard of 96? 96 is like the last standing earthen fort from the Revolutionary War that's still up.
I'm aware of 96.
Okay.
I've sang in 96.
I want to hit 96, except from what I understand, to get to 96, it's like a mile hike through the woods. Like you got to park and then hike them out of the woods. I don't know if I have that much time because I'm fat and slow.
Yeah, you don't want to get lost in the woods. And
and I don't want to short myself time. I don't want to like walk a mile, be like, oh, there it is, cool, and then walk back. So I might save that. We'll see. All right. Coming up on today's radio broadcast, ladies and gentlemen, a lot of football coming up that we need to look forward to. But when we come back in the next segment, I think I know who's replacing Matt Rule next year. I think I know who it might be, and I think Carolina fans are going to be very excited about it. So when we come back, I'm going to tell you who I think may be roaming the sidelines in Charlotte next year, and it is a face that Carolina Panther fans are very familiar with. I'll tell you who it is when we come back. Rob Alonzo and you. It's the Rob Brown Show right here on the Fan Upstate, y'all.
Warehouse.
All right, Stream, be right back. Don't go anywhere.
So, Trey, excellent job on the picture. That was hilarious. Keegan, you're going to be angry when he talks about the coach, unless you already know. And Roger, I wouldn't have a problem with that because, my toenails need clipped right now. But Rob would get up and leave. He would not stay. And it wouldn't be a work. He would literally get up and leave, and that would be it. And then I would have to, scramble to cover things for the rest of the day. Not only that, but
Roger, you massive.
If I did it in the studio, Diesel, his beard would bristle and he would perk up. And no matter where he is, he would know that something unsanitary was going
diesel
on.
Senses would tingle.
Yes, they would. And
coming here in a hazmat suit.
Yeah,
with a baseball bat.
It would be ugly. For sure, ugly.
Absolutely, it would.
But I'm not opposed to doing it. Because when I cut my toenail, sometimes I got to get in there and dig really hard. And then this stuff comes out. I'm not quite sure what it is. It's not green, but it's like, it's like the stuff under your nails comes out, and it might get on the console. I ain't doing the pedicure. Even though it would be funny how uncomfortable it would make Rob, because I'm overly ticklish. So someone get kicked in the face. I'm not doing that. I'm violently ticklish. Yeah, I agree, Steven. He should go see Pedro in the large sombrero. He's going to go right past it. You'll see.
Heard about this
you'll see a ton of signs for it.
Yeah.
One of the first places we stopped the first time we went to Myrtle Beach, because you see it, you're like, I got to see this. You need to take a picture of yourself by the sombrero. You can buy all kinds of stuff, too.
We started this year off with the belief that Matt Rule would finish this year, but that in finishing this year, next year would be the year that it's win or GTFO. That was the belief that we started this year. I didn't start it that way. Lonzo actually talked me into that point of view, and I thought he was spot on. I am now at a point with arguably the toughest, not arguably, definitively the toughest 5-game stretch of maybe any team in the National Football League coming up, of the belief that if the Carolina Panthers go 0-3 in the next 3, and certainly if they go 0-5 in the next 5, that Matt Rule will not make it out of this season. I am at that point. Not because of the 2 losses. Not just because of the 2 losses. They've lost 2 games by a combined 5 points. But as I told Lonzo on the pod multiple times this week, yesterday on the show, Monday on the show, in looking at 2 losses by a combined 5 points and dismissing them as, they were just long field goal losses, I think you also dismiss a lot of mistakes that got made on the field, leading to a situation in which a long field goal was good enough to win the game for a pair of teams. Now, in fairness, the Cleveland Browns are now 2-1, and they beat up on the Steelers last night. 29-17, your final. In fairness, the game was not that close. The Browns were able to recover a fumble for a touchdown late that made it look like the gap that it was. It is a 2-1 Browns team that may not be as bad as we thought that they were, but still, they are not top of the AFC. They're a decent team. Not as bad as we thought. But there have been too many repeated mistakes between week 1 and 2 to lead to an 0-2 start. An 0-2 start that so far statistically disqualifies you from the expanded 14-team playoff. No 0-2 team has made it thus far. If we get to that point, and we get to where this team goes 0-3 in the next 3, because if they go 0-3 in the next 3, they will go 0-5 in the next 5, which will lead to an 0-7 start for the Panthers. If we get to that point, I believe it will be time for Matt Rule to go. You will have to bring in an interim coach or elevated interim coach. But I think 0-3 basically means 0-5, because after the next 3, you got to go to LA to play the Rams and then back home to take on Tom Brady and the Bucs. I don't see Carolina winning either one of those games. Before I go into who I think the trigger gets pulled for if Matt Rule does get dismissed, I will start by asking Lonzo the question. Zoe, if the Panthers go 0-3/0-5, is Matt Rule done?
Yeah, I don't think he makes it past this week if he loses. So
you think if he loses to New Orleans Sunday, he's out?
Yeah, I've changed my mind on things because and should he be? I don't know, because who are they going to bring in the interim that can do any better? Is it someone on the staff? No. You're going to get more of the same if you're unhappy enough to let someone go. It's probably better to just wait till the end of the season.
I don't think that you're wrong. I don't know who would take over as interim head coach. The popular thought amongst Panthers fans is that Steve Wilks would take over, a guy that has some HC experience. I think there's also the possibility that Ben McAdoo could be elevated to that position, although he has not been with the team quite as long.
You know, and some people could look at the way the team is playing and blame it on Ben McAdoo. So why would you elevate him?
Yeah, I see that. So with that being said, who is the next guy if Matt Rule is out? How about this as a possibility? Hear me out before you flip. Sean Payton, former head coach of the New Orleans Saints. Now, 4 weeks ago, preseason, I would have called that a pipe dream. I'd have been like, man, Panthers fans are ruthlessly optimistic if they think Sean Payton would show up. But there's a couple of things that have happened since then. The first and the biggest is that yesterday, Sean Payton was on the New Orleans Football podcast and was talking with the two hosts of that podcast. He was interviewed and was asked, would you return to coaching? Right? Because last Sunday, Sean Payton's been sitting in on the NFL pregame show on Fox, right? Been doing their halftime show, been doing their pregame show, etc. And when he left New Orleans, he said, I could see myself returning to coaching at some point, but right now I kind of want to focus on trying out TV. I want to try out television and see how I feel about it, see if I fit. Last Sunday, right before Fox went to the Tampa at New Orleans game, they were asking Sean Payton about that rivalry, how important it was to him, what he misses about it. And Payton said, this is the first time since I've left that I'm sitting at this desk missing being on the sideline. This is the first time since I left that I'm looking back at the field and going, man, I should be there. I should be that guy. I should be wearing the visor, holding the clipboard, and calling plays. I should be there right now. The Saints, of course, obviously, after Sean Payton walked away, promoted Dennis Allen from defensive coordinator to head coach. How's that working out? They're 1-1. They had a close game against the Bucs, but they also had a close game against Atlanta, so who the hell knows yet? But Sean Payton went on to say, if the right situation presented itself, I would definitely be interested. And there's no utopia, if you will, when it comes to teams. But if I felt like it was the right situation, I would have an interest in that. That all being said, That could come in a year. That could come in 2 years, end quote. Asking what he would be looking for in a coaching opportunity to get back onto the field, he said, quote, the most important element is a functional ownership and front office, because there's a handful of teams that aren't. And those teams, regardless of what takes place, they can win on Sunday, but they have trouble winning long term. The opportunity to win consistently and the willingness to build the correct culture and all those things, end quote. That is really interesting to me, because there are a lot of Panthers fans who truly believe that David Tepper and Scott Fitterer would be almost exactly the opposite of what Sean Payton is talking about here. Almost the exact opposite of what Sean Payton is saying he is looking for in a franchise if he was going to return to the football field. But I would argue this way. Scott Fitterer has effectively let Matt Rule go carte blanche, get who he wants, right? They let him go get Sam Darnold. Matt Rule wanted Sam Darnold. They got him. They signed him to the extra year on the contract. He wanted, from what I understand, though it could be incorrect, he wanted Baker Mayfield on this squad. They went out. They made the deal with the Browns to get Baker Mayfield under center. He wanted Icky as the draft spot. They went and they got Ike Ekwonu and plugged him in at the draft spot at the left tackle. He wanted Matt Corral before he wanted Baker. They went and drafted him, traded up to get him. While Scott Fitterer takes a bit of a rap from Panthers fans, Fitzy has allowed Matt Rule to basically bring in the guys that he wants. And while David Tepper is being frowned upon as an owner right now, and understandably so by Carolina Panthers fans, because he seems to be relatively uninterested in the successes of the Carolina Panthers right now, and seems to be more focused on propping up Charlotte FC, which I get, right? It's the new shiny toy. It's there is a belief that soccer continues to grow as a profitable sport in this country. And at the end of the day, billionaire cares about profits above everything else. So it makes sense that he would be more interested in Charlotte FC than the Carolina Panthers right now, whether we like it or not. But it also feels like David Tepper's kind of a guy that lets his toy run itself, right? He lets the Panthers run itself. He lets Fitterer, he lets Rule kind of make the decisions and run itself, almost to a flaw, almost to the point where it could feel like negligence to some Carolina Panthers fans. Sean Payton in New Orleans, working alongside the GM down there, Mickey Loomis. Sean Payton basically got what Sean Payton wanted, right? When Payton wanted a guy, the Saints figured out a way to make that happen. The Saints figured out a way to get Sean Payton the guy that Sean Payton wanted when he said, oh yeah, this would help us run. This would help the offense. They went a long way in making sure that Sean Payton got the toys he wanted for his offense. That's what Sean Payton's looking for. Sean Payton's going to build the culture of the locker room from the inside. I think what Sean is talking about here is, are you going to get me the guys that I need? Are you going to get me the guys that I want in order to make this offense better? Well, let's look at what Carolina puts on the table. Already, they've got a pair of excellent wide receivers on the outside in Robbie Anderson and DJ Moore. They've got a short quarterback that has surprising mobility when he's asked to use it, very similar to a guy that Sean Payton coached in New Orleans. He's got, for now if he stays healthy, one of the most dynamic running backs in the history of the National Football League in Christian McCaffrey. Just like Sean Payton had and used Alvin Kamara during the end of his time there with the Saints. And he's got a defense that's got the weapons on it to be exceptional, even if the numbers don't necessarily show it. Specifically at the pass rush spot. The more I look at it, And you know, it's interesting is, you know, Keegan said, wow, Mint Street Pod really changed you, Robert. Because as you guys know, I'm a Saints fan, grew up a Saints fan, remain a Saints fan. This is not me looking at this going, gee golly willikers, big Carolina guy over here. I hope that they get my old Super Bowl winning head coach who dominated them for many years to come into this division that I play in. It's not. What I'm saying is it certainly seems to line up well.
I mean, I get everything you're saying, and as a Carolina fan, I'd be okay with him being the coach.
Okay with.
But
should be over the moon
the
about
reason,
being the coach.
yeah, I'm not as gung ho or whatever the word is. That might be 2 words. I don't know. As you are, because you are a Saints fan. I mean, I thought Sean Payton was okay. I didn't think he's nearly as great as you say he is. But everybody knows that he's going to Dallas. He's not coming to Carolina. He's going to Dallas. If he goes back to coaching, if he says, yeah, I'm in, he's in Dallas next year.
That is the popular thought, and I'm not arguing that that's the popular thought. I think that is absolutely the popular thought, and I think there's a lot of reasons that is the popular thought, yeah? I think that he's got the relationship with JJ. He's got the history in Dallas, right?
And pretty much all the reasons why you said he could go to Carolina, he's got kind of similar things in Dallas.
I disagree with that. First off, does anybody here think that Jerry Jones has the ability to be hands-off and let Sean Payton run the locker room?
All right, see, that's the sticking point with you. I'm not talking about Jerry Jones. I'm talking about the team itself.
I understand that, but it starts with that. Sean Payton led off his discussion with an ownership and a front office that work well. Is anybody here accusing JJ of being a brilliant football mind as a GM? Hell no.
I thought maybe, possibly, and I could be wrong, that I heard that he was friends with him.
He is. But here's the thing. I have been around, not a bunch. One thing that you will learn in hanging around rich people, Lonzo, you know me, the 1%er, I've done it my whole life. One thing that you will learn about hanging around rich people, friendship stretches as far as the bottom dollar does, right? JJ is going to be friends with Sean, sure, until the day that he believes that Sean Payton threatens his bottom line, and then screw that guy. I've seen it happen at the millionaire level. I have no doubt it happens at the billionaire level. Those guys only become billionaires because they care about money more than they care about other people, right? That's just how it works.
Or they inherit it. But,
or they inherit it. But even
side.
still, if you inherit $1 billion and you want to stay a billionaire, you learn that lesson very rapidly, right? JJ is relatively self-made. JJ cares about friendship so far as the bottom dollar stretches. I've told you the story about the time I met Jerry Jones, right? I met him at Veets, a bar in Mobile at a Senior Bowl. And I won't go into the whole story again, but suffice to say, Sean Payton, Roman Harper, Mickey Loomis, the guys, introduced me to JJ, right? I was friends with Roman's brother, Brian. I got hooked up with those guys. I ended up having dinner with all of them. They introduced me to Jerry. As soon as those guys were out of earshot, Jerry Jones spent, and I'm not exaggerating, the better part of the next 17 minutes after I told him I was a Saints fan and not interested, the better part of the next 17 minutes trying to convince me to buy Dallas Cowboys season tickets. I'm like, Jerry, I live 11 hours from Dallas, my guy. Well, it's a brand new stadium. Take your, jump on a plane. Just hop on over for the game days. You won't have to miss work. Fly right back after the game. Airport's right there by the stadium. JJ cares about you as far as the dollar stretches. The day that JJ thinks Sean Payton made a bad decision, JJ's going to say, no. That's not the setup Sean Payton's going to work under. He doesn't have to. You don't have to think he's an excellent coach. How many Super Bowl winning coaches are available for you right now? Carolina? Dallas? 1? Maybe 2. I can't think of a second one. But how many high-level, highly coveted coaches are available? Sean Payton.
All right, so I don't know. When he retired, did he have time left on his contract?
Yep.
So whoever
if you
gets
want him this year or next year, you will have to work out a deal with the Saints, which would likely involve a relatively high-level draft pick, like second, third round. He's worth that, right? If you're Carolina, he's worth that. If you're Dallas, he's worth that. So why do I think Carolina would be more attractive than Dallas? Number one, Fitty and Tap basically are going to go, it's your team, boss. Run it how you want it. Run it how you want it. Do what you need to do to make this team successful. Tep's more focused on Charlotte FC, and Fitterer has already shown that he'll pretty much stay out of the way and let his head coach do what his head coach wants to do. JJ is not going to be that way. Steven is not going to be that way. Number two, Baker Mayfield or Dak Prescott. I mean, you might be inclined to trigger response, say Dak. Dak can't stay healthy. He's out again, 4 to 6 weeks? And is Dak, definitively better than Baker? Definitively, based on what we've seen out of Cleveland, Baker, and Dak so far. I wouldn't be able to say yes. But then look at the weapons. Is Joey Gallup better than Robbie Anderson and DJ Moore? They don't have Amari anymore. Amari's gone. Is Zeke better than Run CMC? Not when Christian's healthy, he's not. Right? Maybe their defense is on par with Carolina's, but offensively, Carolina has better weapons right now than Dallas does. And if you're an offensively minded coach like Sean Payton, Carolina is a more attractive destination based on the field, based on skill set, based on the roster. I could very much see Sean Payton in Carolina next year. That's a good fit. I don't want it. I don't like it. I hate it. It'll kill me as a Saints fan to see him repping silver and blue, but it's a good fit. Trey asked if we saw the breakdown of the Panthers offense by Orlovsky. I retweeted it out last night. I want to talk about that later in the show. But when we come back, it is 1-0 Japan, 58-24 played so far. And the Americans, as we go through our last few tune-ups before the World Cup, look like crap. We'll talk about that. The Rob Brown Show rolls on. It's the Fan Upstate. Yeah, I did see that, Trey. I put it up on my Twitter account last night. It's eye-opening. In fact, I'll probably play the audio from it later. It's eye-opening. And also, I showed Zoe the picture you sent in yesterday, Trey. Absolutely hilarious.
Yeah, I already saw
Absolutely hilarious. Skrilla said, will this front office in Charlotte want a retired comeback coach, or will they want to get a coach from the OCDC ranks? If Sean Payton's the retired coach, you want Sean Payton. That's absolutely the guy.
When did he win a Super Bowl?
2009.
It's been a while. What did he do since then?
If the Rams don't get that BS pass interference call, they're in the Super Bowl that year. If Jared Cook doesn't fumble the ball against the Bucs 2 years ago, they're in the Super Bowl that year. Sean Payton should have been in 3 Super Bowls and arguably won 2 of them at least, maybe all 3. We got screwed out of the Rams Super Bowl, and one guy fumbled away our Super Bowl run 2 years ago.
Man, you hang on to that. You know, I could hang on to the D4 jumping off sides for Kansas City and them not going to, but I'm not.
Why not?
Because it's human
You got
error.
screwed.
You
got screwed.
You hang on to all that stuff, and it starts to tear you up inside, dude.
So that's why I just stayed torn up. I wouldn't have to worry about it.
Why would you sign me out? Maybe you're mad because I tried to fix something and you wouldn't let me fix it. Something I had already fixed and it got... But I'm sure I'll take a trip to the other side of the building later to explain why it's messed up. And yes, I'm talking to my computer, like you guys don't do that. This day's going way too fast. We're already done with the first hour. It's going way, way too fast.
I'm good with that.
No.
I would like this whole day to go fast.
No, needs to slow down. And this is from a person who's going to be on vacation here in, hours.
That's true. This is your last day.
Yes.
You're out all next week.
Yes, I am. I do have a show tomorrow, but still, this day's going too fast. Needs to slow up. You still haven't sent me the pics, by the way.
Yes, I did in your Twitter inbox.
Didn't see it. Oh, there it is. I was not alerted. Gonna lose that one. Gonna lose that one. Gonna lose that one. I might win that one. Gonna lose that one. I'll win that one for sure. Wow. I don't want to pick the last two.
Mark Ryan has a saying that he's used for many years that he gave to me back when we worked in Destin, and it stuck with me.
One saying?
No, he has a lot of them.
Because he's only got one?
He has a lot of them, but there is one that he said to me when we did our morning show together back in Destin 8 years ago, right? I don't remember. I honestly, I don't remember what we were talking about. I don't remember the conversation or the context of it, but we were on the air. And Mr. Burt My Brownie said, statistics are like a bikini. You like this one, Lonzo? Lonzo just put his head down and face palmed. You like this one, this Mark Ryanism?
This is one of those, let's go, man, if I had $1 for every time I heard that said, I'd be a rich man.
Mark Ryan said, statistics are like a bikini. They don't show you everything, but they show you a lot. When he dropped that on me, I was like, blah, 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 what? And then I was like, damn it, I'm mad at how accurate that is, right? Like, I'm mad at how accurate that is. You can look at statistics. And I heard somebody say at one point, you can make statistics show you anything you want. It's like, yeah, I guess to some degree. But then there are some statistics that you look at that stand out in a way that make you go, especially with sports, that make you go, oh, that's really not good. Like this one. The United States men's national team is currently locked in a friendly with Japan. They've played 65 minutes and 46 seconds thus far, and the Americans are in a 1-0 hole. Now, Japan is a decent little team. It's not a bad team. It's also a team that we should beat. We're not. We're losing. It is, as we pointed out to Lonzo earlier in the show, it is a preseason game. Okay, this is World Cup tune-up. These are games that managers are using to evaluate players. They're using to evaluate tactics. They're using to evaluate everything before these guys get on the plane and head to Qatar for a Winter World Cup. So you don't want to full-out freak-out panic. But you also do have to recognize things aren't going right now. Things are not going right for the Americans right now. There's one statistic that Taylor Twellman showed out from the first half that I think gives you a pretty good indication of why we might, and I hope not, man, but why we might very much be in trouble in November when the opening rounds of the World Cup get started. In the first half of this match, the first half, Lonzo, how long is one half in soccer? How many minutes?
18.
Basically, Lonzo has 3 weeks off in November, is what this comes down to. 45 minutes a half. Keep that in mind when I give you this statistic. 45 minutes and a half. The Americans turned the ball over 54 times just in the defensive side of the field.
How many times did Japan turn the ball over?
Not 54 in 45 minutes.
So you don't know.
Here's the thing. I don't care. It doesn't matter. It is irrelevant. If you turn the ball over,
it is relevant if they're both doing it equal.
If your football team turns the ball over 8 times in a game, does it matter that you took it away 7? No.
I appreciate
you gave 8 turnovers away.
I appreciate your passion and your anger over a game that doesn't matter.
It does matter. This is the point where you sharpen the sword before you go to battle in November. That's where we are. And this is what we're rolling out. We've once again tried to shoehorn our second best players in because they're the best at what Greg Berhalter wants to do. And what Greg Berhalter wants to do ain't working again.
Next week, I'll be talking about how Greg Berhalter is a genius. I've seen this flip happen already. I've seen you get really angry at the guy and then like, you know what? He's not so bad. I've seen you do that.
I have come off, as I am wont to do, in spots where he's performed well and gone, I'm not a fan, but that was an outstanding performance. Is this an outstanding performance?
Is it game over?
No.
Is it game over?
No, it doesn't matter.
You're down by 1 point.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. If we win this game, it's still a terrible opening 70 minutes.
I know we won, but we look bad. It's still a victory.
That's a problem.
Okay. All right.
When Spain and England are over there instead of Japan, Hour 2's around the corner of the Rob Brown Show on the Fan Upstate. Boys, get your lives together. What are we doing?
At least you didn't hit anything yet.
And there they go on another run. Cool. Yep, wide open on the left.
You know, I can help you out by changing the station.
No,
I could do that. I mean,
dare.
I turned that there because I knew you were interested in it, but, you know, that anger's going to burn you up. Rob is angry over soccer that doesn't matter because it's a friendly. Kind of reminds me when I was at a preseason game and for the Panthers, and a guy was getting really upset because he bet on the preseason game. Same sort of thing. It was still a preseason game, didn't matter, but dude put money on it. I think Rob's anger is misplaced. It's just preseason. It's friendly. It doesn't matter.
Scotty, what's up, big fella? Welcome in, buddy. Good to see you. Good to hear from you, man. Miss you guys down on the Panhandle. I really do. He said, I tweeted the USMNT, much like the uniforms, don't look great. Correct. How the Triumph doing? Triumph are, unless things have changed, third on the table. Let's take a look, because I know Omaha dropped a point the other day, dropped 2 points. They ended up falling to Colorado, which was an upset for sure. We are third on the table. We are 2 back. We are 1-2-2 in our last 5. One more roadie, and then October 1st, we return back to Legacy Early for back-to-back home matches, and those will be big. Need to defend the house to catch Omaha. Richmond right now on top of the table with 45. They are 3 wins in their last 5, so they're on a tear right now, which is not great for us. The team is not performing the way we want them to as of right now, to answer your question there, Trey. And I'm not exactly sure why. Because they're not playing like we're used to seeing a John Harkes team playing. And they got to step it up.
You know, I have got some research to do on radio fashion. Yesterday, we were on a podcast with another broadcaster, and he was on with us, and he and Rob had the same exact fashion. So I cannot wait to the next time we get to be on someone else's pod to see if it's the same thing, because I am curious. I was always curious if radio people basically dress the same in every state.
What was he just in
to the point where he turned his hat around. That's why I kept talking about the hat, because you guys both had your hats backwards. You both had the same kind of beard. Everything was kind of the same, and I could tell that's why he turned his hat. That's why you wonder why I mentioned the hat. That's why. Did you notice he laughed each time? Because I saw why he turned his hat. Can't wait.
I'm a big fan of the jersey and backward hat look.
No. By the way, I'm not being critical of the style. I've always wondered, you know, does a guy in my position in another state, how do they dress and how do they function in their job? I think sometimes you like to think you're unique, and then you see that, you know, styles are matching, all that kind. I just find it interesting. Now Rob's going to wear something different the next time.
I own what I own, buddy.
Yeah, but you own a lot.
Although I woke up this morning and I stepped outside and I took a deep breath. That's the end of where that lyric is applicable here. But
that's a lyric?
The early morning very much felt like flannel season. It felt like flannel season this morning. And tonight,
Did you get all your mugs out and place them on the counter, get them ready?
I left out the craft beer and cookies for Hipster Claus last night. It felt like flannel season.
It is that time of year for him.
It is going to be 62 degrees when I'm calling the football game tonight. Let's go. How much do you love your football team? Like a lot. Most of us love our football team a lot.
not enough to get a tattoo or to, do something that would harm myself when my football team did poorly. Will I be upset? Yeah, but I'm over it like 10 minutes later because in the end, it's just watching adults play a game that we can't play.
Would you, Lonzo, love your team enough to detonate a nuclear reactor on your campus if your team lost your football game?
Yeah, I heard about this story because it goes beyond football. That's just like,
A 21-year-old student posted on the social media application Yik Yak. Do you know what Yik Yak is?
I'm not down with the Yik Yak. You're younger than me. I thought you would know.
I don't know what Yik Yak is. Let's see. Yik Yak, according to Wikipedia, is a pseudonymous. It's a social media app where you don't have to use your name. It is a nameless social media app.
You mean like our text line?
Correct.
Even though we have your phone number.
Correct.
But still.
It is a smartphone app available on iOS and Android, which allows people to create and view discussion threads within a 5-mile radius. It is similar to other anonymous sharing apps such as Nearby, but differs from others such as Whisper in that it is intended for sharing primarily with those in proximity to the user. So on a college campus, for instance.
A lot of this sounds like Dark Order stuff. I mean, what is this?
Basically, it is a social media app on which you, instead of like tweets, you would have threads like Reddit message threads, but you can only access those threads if you are within 5 miles of the origin of the thread, right? So if you're on campus at, I don't know, hypothetically, the University of Utah.
That's a good, I mean, yeah, hypothetically.
Yeah. Hypothetically, if you were on the campus of the University of Utah and you opened a thread, the only people who would be able to respond to that thread are other people on and just outside the campus of the University of Utah, which honestly is kind of a cool idea for a social media app, right? When you talk about, like, if you're in Greenville, downtown Greenville, and you go on Yik Yak, the only people who can respond to you are people that are in Greenville. So it's a localized social media thread.
Yeah, but that can be used against you and could be kind of creepy. So
yes, every social media thread is creepy.
Yeah, but in this case, if you're on Facebook or Twitter, the person you're talking to may say they're in Greenville, but they could be, in California. In this case, if they're in the area.
Yeah, 100%. I think it's kind of rad in that it centralizes and localizes social media conversation. Because, if I was to go on and post something about Greenville sports, I know the only people that can respond to me are people who are in Greenville, which means they're more connected to Greenville sports. Anyway, the 21-year-old student, according to police, was arrested this week and accused of making terroristic threats by posting on social media on the day of the Utah Utes football game that if the team did not win, she would detonate the nuclear reactor on campus. Meredith Miller, on Saturday, September 17th, according to the University of Utah Police Department, they were notified someone had posted a message on Yik Yak that said, quote, "If we don't win today, I'm detonating the nuclear reactor on campus." Meredith Miller was found out to be the student. She was taken to Salt Lake County Jail and booked for making terroristic threats. The police said, quote, she acknowledged posting the statement and was arrested and taken to the Salt Lake County Jail and booked for those threats. The student claimed her statement was meant as a joke, the university said. However, Police Chief Jason Hinojosa said in the statement, quote, "We have a zero-tolerance policy for these kinds of threats," end quote. Hinojosa said that the university's nuclear reactor is secured and it has alarms, and police have unique protocols for managing any breach. She very clearly was joking, right? Like, very clearly was joking.
Well, I on the surface you would think that, but you don't know what kind of background she has. I believe that she is joking. But, if she gets away with that joke, then someone else who's not joking says it, and that guy's just joking. And then next thing you know, boom. So you got to treat it that way. You also got to be smart enough with your sarcasm, and it's very difficult to not set off any alarms when it comes to the people who are watching and listening.
If I saw this on a Reddit thread, right? If I saw on a Reddit thread that some Utah fan was like, "Man, I'm gonna detonate the school's nuclear reactor if we lose this game," my reaction would be like, dramatic but funny. LOL. Haha.
See, my first thought would be, okay, does she work at the place? Does she have access to the place? I'd be concerned. I would, because it's just not a joke you make.
The good news, Lonzo, is that the Utes defeated San Diego State 35-7, so
everyone would have been safe.
So everybody would have been fine.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, what are we worried about, They were always going to win that game.
I mean, Keegan brought this up, and I was curious about this too, about why there's, that exists on that campus. But, you got to study nuclear stuff somewhere, I guess. So apparently they do it in Utah.
Yeah, and apparently it's apparently that's a big research facility. A university spokesperson told NBC News yesterday that the university has a nuclear engineering program, which is why there is a reactor on campus. The University of Utah is one of about 25 universities with nuclear reactors on campus.
It makes sense. If you're going to learn how to, operate, work on, create nuclear stuff, you probably should have some hands-on.
Yeah. It was very clearly a joke. But also, you can't do that, right? Like, not where we are as a society right now. You can't do that. But also, cut homegirl some slack, right? Utah's been a program that is expected to be on the rise for a number of years now, and they're struggling. And who amongst us hasn't thought, man, if my team loses this game, I hope the stadium implodes?
Yeah. I hope that was sarcasm, because I've never thought that before. I'd like to believe the majority of our listeners haven't thought that before either.
Luke says, you think someone with that kind of access would not be dumb enough to make that kind of threat? I don't know that she has the access, right? Like, she's a 21-year-old student. You don't necessarily need to be in the nuclear engineering program to know that your campus has a nuclear reactor on it and to make a joke about the nuclear reactor on campus, right? I wasn't in the band, but I made jokes about the band all the time. I don't know if she had access to it or not. And Keegan, of course, says alarms.
So did I, but you didn't catch it.
You guys aren't good friends. Keegan says, I'm just confused why colleges have nuclear reactors. Nuclear engineering. Listen, nuclear power is the direction we should be headed in. And the only way to advance nuclear power is to study it, to learn it, and to educate the next generation of scientists on what we found so far so that they can research more. Nuclear reactors are remarkably safe. Remarkably safe, right? You got 3 Mile Island, Chernobyl. Name me another nuclear reactor failure.
Japan, but that was
Fukushima, but that was caused by the tsunami.
Yeah, but still, I mean, but you're right. Other than that,
Luke said George Bush said nuclear.
It's nuclear.
Nuclear. That's it. Yes. Nuclear.
A lot of people still say nuclear. He wasn't the first. He won't be the last.
No, he certainly won't.
Yes.
Nuclear. Lear. L-E-A-R. Nuclear.
Nuclear.
Got to get that daggum nuclear power. Where they, I don't know this. I don't know who this atom guy is, but apparently, if you split that atom guy in half, he can run the whole damn country with that nuclear.
You can't even pronounce it wrong. You keep trying.
I can't.
You can't.
Nuclear.
Yeah.
Nuclear. My uncle knows nuclear. He knows the best nuclear. I can't do it. It's nuclear, people. The E and the A are right there. All right. I love that story.
So if she said nuclear, could she get out of it? Because
Your Honor, I'm clearly too dumb to know what I'm talking about here.
because nuclear is not a thing. So,
Nuclear. All right, let's finish up story we got into yesterday. Boston Celtics coach Ime Udoka suspended for the entire 22-23 season, effective immediately. The Boston Celtics cited violations of team policies in their announcement. Sources previously told ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski that Udoka had an intimate relationship with a female member of the franchise's staff. The suspension is effective immediately, and a decision about his future with the organization would be made later. Udoka said in a statement to Malika Andrews, quote, "I want to apologize to our players, fans, the entire Celtics organization, and my family for letting them down. I am sorry for putting the team in this difficult situation, and I accept the team's decision. Out of respect for everyone, I will have no further comment." Which is the right way to handle that situation. And we got it talked about yesterday. I saw a lot of people on the internet. This is two adults in a consensual relationship. What's the problem? Well, first off, the newest details started circulating yesterday after the story obviously started gaining traction in the big time media. And let me rephrase that. Reportedly, and I do not know the level of confirmation here to the point that I almost don't want to say it, but it is a detail that's been attached by some high-level sources now. Apparently, one of the women in which Ime Udoka was involved in a consensual relationship, as Japan has just netted goal number 2. It is now 2-0 to the Japanese over the Americans. We are bad at football.
Is it wrong to root for the other team just because it makes someone mad who's going to punish you later on? Ask him for a friend.
I don't know, Zoe, but I'll tell you this. You're starting to peeve me, and when we get done with the show, my attitude, you're going to have to take it on the run. 2-0 to the Japanese. They just dagger right through the heart of the American defense again, get an excellent shot on goal again, and throw it past the outstretched arms of Matt Turner again. The optimism that I had about our World Cup run is fading quickly. Anyway, apparently reportedly one of the women that Ime Udoka had a consensual sexual relationship with at some point decided to terminate the consensual sexual relationship, made Ime Udoka aware that she was done with that sexual relationship, and then Udoka continued making sexual comments to her after that happened. If that is true, that would be a big part of it. Secondly, we talked about it yesterday, the power imbalance created by a person with immense power and authority inside of a corporate structure, lording it over someone with far less power and therefore control over their own position within that entity. It's not a good look for a big-time enterprise like the Boston Celtics. And that's why this decision got made. So this is unsurprising. This is honestly, I think Ime Udoka is kind of not getting off the hook. A one-year suspension is a big deal, especially at a point in time where the Celtics have really started to build together a basketball program that could be a threat in the East next year. And now he's got to sit out for that. It's not a great look. But Ime Udoka did dodge a bullet in that there are a lot of people in this position who would be fired for this, right? Lonzo brought up the Vince McMahon comparison yesterday in the WWE. This is effectively what Vince McMahon got in trouble for doing. Vince owned the company and got pushed out for doing exactly this, right? Because the concept of consensual sexual behavior is one thing. But if you put somebody in a choice where you're like, look, dude, you can consent to a sexual relationship with me, or I can make sure that you never get another promotion, right? If you have worked 20, 30, 40 years to get yourself into a position where you're finally working for an NBA team, not just an NBA team, but one of the historic franchises in the NBA, and you're trying to work your way up the ranks within that organization and get to the next level, and then one day the head coach comes to you and goes, hey, me and you, bow chicka bow wow, and maybe there's another promotion on the other end of it for you. That is taking advantage of your authority, your power, your position. And from what we are getting reports-wise on this story, that's likely what Ime Udoka did. And that's why my guy's out. All right, 844-FAN phone, 844-FANFONE, 844-326-3663. When we come back here in just a minute, let's go ahead, take a look forward. Clemson at Wake Forest this weekend, their first big-time test of the year. They got to go to North Carolina to take on the Demon Deacons. They are favored in this game. Will they win? Will they cover? We're going to break that down. Then, South Carolina, Charlotte. South Carolina, a double-digit favorite, and then some at home against the 49ers. But they'll be doing it without two of their veteran defensive backs. The 49ers can move the ball through the air. What does that mean for the Gamecocks? We'll talk about that. And Carolina, New Orleans. We'll break that down. Although if you want to hear a more elaborate breakdown of Carolina, New Orleans, go get the Views from Mint Street podcast, available where major podcasts are found. Yesterday, joined by Jeff Nowak. He does the Inside the Black and Gold Saints podcast for Odyssey. He joined us yesterday for a few minutes to break that game down with a perspective from both teams. That's the Views from Mint Street podcast, available where major podcasts are found. When we come back, Clemson v. Wake. We'll break that game down on the Rob Brown Show and the Fan Upstate. We're right back stream, got a live read, and then I'm right back with you. Hang on. All right, we back. Welcome, everybody in the stream. Appreciate you guys coming by. Y'all are awesome.
So CM Punk is trending, but I can't find out why.
Everybody's just talking junk about him.
Yeah,
Nash, did you see what Steve Nash called him? Steve Nash called him a 72 Pinto with 107 miles.
Kevin Nash.
Kevin Nash. Sorry, Steve Nash.
Steve Nash.
Kevin Nash called
If
him
Steve Nash says it, it's even better.
Right? Kevin Nash called him a 72 Pinto with 107 miles on it. That's such a great insult.
Kevin Nash is one of the first things that pops up, so maybe it's all about that, but it's over 8,000 tweets about it. So I thought maybe there was news and I couldn't find it. Keegan asked earlier about Andor. I'm waiting for the watch party with Rob.
I'm down for a watch party.
I haven't watched it yet. I probably will watch it today and will be overly critical tomorrow. I'm going with the Rob Brown approach on this. I don't like it before I see it, and I'm definitely not going to like it after I see it.
That is not the Rob Brown approach, for the record.
That's how I see the Rob Brown approach.
You see it wrong, buddy.
Do I?
Clemson on the road this weekend. They're taking on a top 25 ACC opponent in Wake Forest, both out of the Atlantic. They'll be at Truist Field. Clemson, the number 5 team in the AP rankings. Wake Forest currently sits at number 21. They did drop 2 spots after a 1-point win over Liberty last weekend. This game will be on ABC. It kicks off at noon. Clemson opens the game as a 5-point favorite in this one, minus 330 on the money line, and FPI gives them a 78.9% chance to win the game. Lonzo, what are you looking for out of the Tigers in this game? I mean, I know besides an L.
Well, if they lost, I would enjoy it, but they're not going to. They've got to show that their defense is better than what it's been playing, which hasn't been horrible, but they have been playing really good competition. And the main thing is DJ needs to come out and shine. And they also need to run the ball, but DJ needs to come out and shine So all the Cadeites will have to sit there and be silent.
The Cadeites.
Yeah, trademark it.
My man's got his own faction now.
Let's go. Let's go.
like it.
Let's trademark that thing.
I'll tell you what I want. I want a complete game.
If you steal that other show, you're gonna have to pay me some money.
Yeah, royalties. The Cadeites. I need a complete game. That's what I want before anything else. I just want to see a great game. Clemson looked better in the second half against Georgia Tech than they did in the first. Clemson looked really good in the late game against Furman, but it took them a while. It gave a lot of passing yards up to the Paladins. Covered the spread against Louisiana Tech, but another game that they did not finish. They did not look as good as I'd like. That being said, Will Shipley started to morph back into that game changer that I expect him to be. I think Clemson is still looking to see, trying to find who is going to be the deep ball threat for DJ Uiagalelei, right? I saw a Clemson fan on social. Everything DJ throws is short. Like, who's he throwing to? Who is the deep ball threat right now? Who is the deep ball threat right now that you look at and go, that guy is opening the game up for them?
You know who I don't get? I don't get people who, well, why isn't he why they're winning. I mean, I guess if you really want to look, you can find something that a team's doing wrong, even though they're winning, or something they could do better. But in the end, you're winning.
You know, I've noticed in the last 2 days, predominantly, I've noticed it before, but it's really stood out the last 2 or 3 days. The I'll call it psychological approach to football that Lonzo and I think differ on more than anything else that we differ on, right? I think we are further.
Well, there's a whole political thing, but we don't want to talk about that.
No, I don't even know that this isn't deeper, right? Lonzo looks and goes, you win, everything's good. You lose, we can talk about it, right? Clemson's winning. What's there to talk about? What's there to talk about? If Clemson beats Furman, La Tech, and Georgia Tech, Lonzo, they ready to step on the field with Ohio State right now?
If Clemson wins all their games, they're not ready to step on the field with Ohio State. You remember what happened last time? OH, baby. That hurt.
Oh?
That hurt.
Oh? They're not. They're not ready to step on the
Clemson
field.
is, as we talked about a couple of days ago, they're boring. They're boring. So you have to stretch to find stuff to talk about them. And I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about fans, although you to a certain degree, because you need to talk about Clemson because there are Clemson fans in the audience. So what are you looking for? You got to find a flaw somewhere to expose the flaw because people, for some reason, want to hear more about negative than they do about positive. Your team is winning. They're doing what they're supposed to do. Are they winning by as much as they normally do? Maybe not, but they're still winning. And in the end, 25 years from now, you're not going to go back and go, okay, the stats were down here. You might, and if you are, you're weird. It's about the wins and losses. It's not about all that other stuff.
Disagree entirely.
Of course you do.
You just said they're not ready to step on the pitch with Ohio State, which they're not.
By the way, they won't be.
So how do you?
And they definitely, you're going to go with Georgia above that. There's a reason why Georgia. So right now, if they play the game tomorrow, does Clemson beat Ohio State, Georgia, or Alabama?
No, but that's precisely the point. How do you get them there?
Yeah. Can you? No,
answer,
can you this year? Can you? Because I don't know that you can.
The answer is you have to fix what is wrong. You can't look and go, we won, therefore everything's great. You have to fix what is wrong.
Okay.
You can't fix what's wrong by looking at it and going, hey, you won, let's move on and be happy.
We talked about last week about South Carolina versus Georgia and the beatdown, which is what everyone expected. And I said if Carolina played a perfect game, it still would have probably been the same. Same's going to be with Clemson. In this case, it's a matter of talent. It's not a matter of execution. And Clemson's talent is slightly down compared to their championship years. I don't think you can look at it across the board and go, yeah, this is comparable. This is the same as what it was when they won the championship here or here. You can't do that.
No.
So you can only get so much out of your talent. This team is not talented enough to roll with the big guys. They're just not.
So don't try.
No, they're winning. They're doing what they're supposed to do.
That's not what I'm asking. You just said they're not ready to step on the field with Ohio State, with Alabama, with Georgia, which I agree with you. And the way you're saying it makes it sound like the next step in your argument is, so don't try. Just enjoy beating Furman and La Tech. Don't enjoy your 10-1 season.
Don't project where my argument's going to be.
Then where's your argument going?
There is, you won. Be happy with that. Quit looking for negativity. If you want the team to get better, great. But you're only going to get so good. There's only so much you can get out of a team. And then you got to hope for some luck.
I physically couldn't.
Clemson is going to win every game the rest of the season till they get to the playoff, and then they're going to lose whoever they play in the playoff. There's a reason why Vegas, which you are talk about so much, has such a drop off between 3 and 4.
Well, they got a bigger drop off between between 3 and 4. Yeah. I thought you said from 4 to 5.
No. See,
well, that's why that's where I assumed you were going, but I stopped myself.
We should never do that.
I agree. That's why I corrected
we have talked about the level between 3 and 4. Vegas knows exactly what I'm saying.
By the way, the level between 3 and 4 is now even. Between 4 and 5 is now even. Ohio State is plus 300. That's the lower of the big three. Clemson is plus 1,300. So Ohio State's 3-1. Clemson is 13-1.
Right.
And now USC is 13-1 as well.
All right. So again, the drop off between 3 and 4 is so big for a reason, and it has nothing to do with how they're playing. It has to do with talent.
Well,
they don't have the same talent that they've had in the past.
I agree with you, but I will let you be the one to tell Clemson fans, hey, be happy with your Totes Adorbs ACC title because you're not in the big dog discussion.
I just did that.
I know. That's what I said.
Yeah,
you can do that.
And I don't have a problem with that because I'm going to be honest with what I feel is their problem. When I think they're competitive, I talk about them being competitive. There's a reason why, again, I said they're going to win all their games because they're in the ACC, and the ACC seems to be more down than what they normally are.
Correct. I suspect, so the way I approach my football team, no matter how bad I expect them to be coming into the season, is my goal is whatever the best we can accomplish mathematically, right? I'm a Saints fan. We're 1-1. You know what my goal is right now? You know what my end goal is? Win the Super Bowl. That's it. And there will be a day where it just becomes we can't do it.
NFL and college are totally different, though, when it comes to that. Because
my college team. If my college team is 3-0 right now, my goal is make the college football playoffs and win it, right? That's my goal. Clemson fans' goal is win another natty. And I got no problem with that being the goal. You're not going to look at Clemson fans and go, be happy beating Furman, La Tech, and Wake. That's your ceiling. That's what you're good at. That's what you're capable of. That's what you can do. So enjoy that and go home.
No, you say you're not going to. I just did that.
I know
that is your ceiling, and this is not.
I said I'm not doing that.
This is not a bit. This is not. If you're going to be honest with yourself as a Clemson fan or as a football fan in general, you look at the team and see it's not as talented as the championship teams they've had before. That's not a knock on them.
What would be your take, honestly? If tomorrow,
because apparently I lie all the time. I hate when people do that because that implies that most of the time you're not really honest. But this time I would like you to be honest.
All right, you're taking something personal. That's not supposed to be personal.
I'm not taking it personal. I'm talking about a lot of people say that, but it implies that you're not being honest most of the time.
If Dabo Swinney tomorrow came out, got in front of the cameras and went, all right, everybody, I appreciate you guys coming out. Big game against Wake Forest coming up on Saturday. And, we've looked at this team. We've evaluated this team a lot. And the conclusion that we've come to is that our goal is to win an ACC title because we're just not good enough to win a national championship this year. We're just not good enough to do it. We just don't have the talent. We don't have the dogs. We can't compete with Georgia, Alabama, and Ohio State. They're just that much better than we are. Vegas said so. So, we're going to go win the ACC, and frankly, that'll be good enough for us.
I got to say.
You'd lose your mind.
I got to say. And this is, I've been really busy for a couple of days and my mind's already on vacation. I don't get what we're arguing about here. I really don't.
Here's what we're arguing about. The philosophy of approaching football. I am looking and saying, here's what I want out of Clemson. Here's what I need to see out of Clemson because these things aren't good enough. And you're like, don't look at negatives.
I have seen you be more negative in the last couple of days than I've seen since I've known you.
Because I expect better.
Because you're looking to find, and it's one thing to find something. Okay, they need to improve here. They need to improve here, but you don't have to approach it in the way that, oh man, they're just not good here. I just don't know.
They're not good enough.
That's what
you just said that.
I said the talent is not good enough.
Right. They're
going to win every game. You keep trying to turn it on me, but I'm not being negative in the way that you are.
This is the line. I am not being negative. I'm being realistic. Realistically speaking, Clemson can be a better team than they have played as so far. Disagree or agree?
Are they going to? Every team can be better than what they are right now.
The only way to get better is to identify negatives and correct them. Correct or incorrect? The only way to get better is fix the things that are going wrong.
Another way to get better is to get lucky.
No, that's not getting better. That's getting lucky. You can't control luck. That's out of your control. You can control blocking schemes, route running, accuracy on throws, wrapping up on tackles. Those are things you can control. You can get better at blocking schemes. You can get better at route running, at acknowledging audibles, at RPOs, inside runs, sweeps. You can get better at that. I can't control when you knock a ball out of the running back's hand. Does it bounce left, right, straight, or back?
Rob, can Clemson win the national championship right now?
Probably not. So should they not try?
Again,
should they not try to be the best football team they can be?
This is not how this segment started.
I know,
and that's fine.
Welcome to Sports Radio.
I feel like I'm being put on a like you're being harmful to the witness or something. I don't know. I mean,
objection, Your Honor. Treating the witness hostile.
Yeah, that's it. You understand the terms better than me.
Which, by the way, you are totally allowed to do as long as you declare it. Your Honor, I'd like to treat the witness as a hostile observer, and you're allowed to do that. So I'm not treating you with hostility.
Where's the judge here who can say whether Rob can treat me with hostility or not?
71307. The text line's open. Start your text with fan. Here's all I'm saying.
Aren't I being punished enough today?
If you watched Clemson Furman, I forgot for a second. If you're watching Clemson Furman, if you're watching Clemson La Tech, is that the best Clemson can be? No, it's not. I'm not saying they can beat Ohio State or Georgia or Bama. Frankly, they can't, all due respect. But they can be better than they were against Furman and La Tech and Georgia Tech. They can be. But what's the only way to get better? Identify weaknesses, identify flaws, and work hard to correct them. That's how you get. That is the definition.
All right, so
of how you get better.
You talk about the difference in our philosophies. If your team, let's say, and this is far-fetched, let's say, and we'll go back to the NFL ranks, that New Orleans wins the championship. They win the Super Bowl. If that were my team, I'd be real happy they won.
Okay.
As your team, you will go back and find the things that they could have done better.
At that point, we were the best.
So
I can't be better than the best.
Winning matters then. Winning matters then.
I'll give you the example you're looking for. I will give you the example you're looking for.
Because I'm, lesser.
No. You jumped to the Super Bowl. That's not the game you should have jumped to. Game you should have jumped to was week 1 when the Saints needed a miracle to kick a 50-plus yard field goal to beat the Falcons by a point in a walk-off status. Right? That's what you should point at. Rob, you just beat the team in the NFL that you hate the most. You just beat your divisional rival. You just beat a team that you can't stand the sight of their logo. Aren't you happy? No. No, I'm not happy. Because they played like crap and they still got it out a win. But there are so many things that could have done better, that they could have done better to where we're not in that spot. That's the argument I'm making about the Panthers. Great, we won. That's awesome, fantastic. But are you saying there are things that the Panthers can't do better? Yes, there are. But the only way to do that is to identify them and call them to the surface.
There is no wrong way to be a fan unless you threaten to blow up a nuclear campus. That could be considered a wrong way. There is no sanely wrong way to be a fan. Just because we're a fan differently doesn't mean that either one of us are the wrong kind of fan.
I'm not saying you're a bad fan.
I think you're coming at me that way.
Not at all.
As
I'm just saying to ignore problems.
As you can find out on the Views from Main Street podcast, I am sunshine. He is reality, apparently. So,
Correct.
I mean,
Correct.
and wouldn't you rather have sunshine?
on a cloudy day. Okay, coming up in the next 10 minutes, Friday, time to talk some high school football. Kevin and John from Moving the Change join us. We'll break down all the games going around the upstate. Next segment, The Rob Brown Show, the Fan Upstate.
You wanted to fight so bad you forgot. I don't know why he wants to fight with me. Should I just lay back and take it? I mean, I'm nearly on vacation, so, All I will say, and this is the day that the Lord has made, I will rejoice and be glad in it. Apparently I'll be wrong a lot, but I'm still going to be glad.
What's the update on last week's picks?
It's funny. He's looking to see what I'm wearing.
Yeah, I was trying to see.
He looked over to see what I'm wearing.
We got a normal shirt on.
Well, it could be worse.
Coming up at 11:30, he is going to be performing for us the hit classic, Take It on the Run by REO Speedwagon, a band that he hates.
Okay. So we're just going to play like a little karaoke track. And we're just gonna, okay.
No, it won't be okay. It will not.
So if you want to go downstairs and get the sales pit, tell them come on up. We get a live concert.
There we go. Hold our lighters up in the air.
Yes. Oh, I didn't even think about that. I have to go get a lighter.
Probably shouldn't do that in here. I'm just saying.
Is that after that big trip today, Rob?
I'm leaving here at 12:15 to go home and let the dog out. Let's see, how far? Like, I haven't even.
Is not close.
It's like 3 hours, right?
At least 3 hours.
You got to factor into some traffic too,
Yep.
time of day and stuff. Yeah.
No, I'm driving myself because
Okay.
I'm coming straight home afterwards.
I mean, from my house to Florence, it's probably 3:15, and you're probably a little bit more on the other side of Greenville.
He's also wanting to stop a couple places, so.
Probably go to Buc-ee's, all that jazz.
2 hours 58 minutes if I take I-26 to 20. That'll take me through Columbia. Oh, right around 5. No,
Yeah.
it'll be earlier than that because I'm leaving the house at 1. Put me in Columbia by what, like 2:33? So I should be through Columbia.
It'll still be busy, but it won't be busy like it could be.
Yeah. But I will be driving by 96.
You
I
shouldn't
take
do
the
no.
risk?
Go
Don't
see
take
this.
the risk?
Go see the sombrero. At least I mean you can jump off. You can go see the
Like
sombrero.
on the side
Take
of
it.
the interstate?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
You can jump right back on.
Okay.
You can't go that way without stopping at least
Like,
once.
and it's too far from Myrtle to be like, let me go just see Myrtle.
Yeah, oh yeah, that's
It's like another hour to Myrtle.
hour
Yeah,
45 probably,
yeah.
actually.
Like it really just kind of is in the middle. But I may take 401 up just to pop by the racetrack.
For a second. Right there.
Marion,
Yep. Home jam, baby.
I like it. Right by Petey.
Yeah, PD
Why-
region.
Why is it called Petey?
PD River. Little
Oh,
and
okay.
big. Yeah,
Thank you for helping him with that before his brain went way the wrong way.
The Petey people were. Okay. So
Petey
it's
people.
a Native American. It's an indigenous peoples tribe. All right. 3 hours. So if I leave the house by like 2, I should have time to.
Go to Buc-ee's, get snacks.
All right, we got to real quick fly through these games because I am bad at time management. My man Kevin Thomas is here with us from the Moving the Chains podcast. John Epps is in the parking lot because apparently running his business is more important than being on the show. What's up, Kev?
How you doing, buddy?
I'm good, man. How are you?
This weather.
Yeah, dude, it's flannel season, bro. It feels football-y outside. Saturday night, might be watching the South Carolina game out on the patio.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, let's take a look at a handful of games, and we will start with one that I will be at tonight after a 3-hour card ride there, followed by a 3-hour card ride back. It's a good thing that I love you people. Burns is Lonzo. You know, you make him sing one REO Speedwagon in a song, and all of a sudden Lonzo's going to be a jerk the rest of the day. He said, yep. Burns, 42-7 win over Wren, but they have kind of fallen into this habit, Kev, of being an entirely different team in the second half than the first half. The only exception to that game was the Greer game, the oldest rivalry on their schedule. That one, from what I've been told, is just always going to be close no matter how good or bad each team is. They did it again against Wren. They were in a dogfight in the first half against a 3A team, I believe Wren is, that was just outmanned on the roster. And then the second half exploded. Colby Shaw, 3 touchdown passes. He's got 17 on the year. I want to say he's in like the second quarterback in terms of yards thrown for in the state right now. The offense is wide open. As far as I understand, Kamarius Bomar is back and available for this game after being unavailable for the last 2. On the flip side, West Florence is also 4-0, one of the better teams at the 4A level. This one's going to be a test in a hostile environment for the Rebs.
This is Burns' biggest test, I feel like, so far this year. West Florence is really, really good. Their quarterback, Deuce Hudson, is an electric playmaker.
That's a hell of a quarterback name, too.
It is, right? Really good dual-threat guy. Darren Lloyd, the running back's a great player. A couple wide receivers, Bennett and Benton and whatnot. But their defense really shine. They've got a big-time prospect at DB level, Kelvin Hunter, a 3-star for next year. Good linebacker, Franklin Emerson. Coach Jennerette does a great job there with those guys. This is a team where if Burns falls behind early, they could be in trouble. So they need to come out and start fast for sure.
This is, in fact, we were talking about that in the postgame last week after the win over Wren, that the games for Burns where you can go, all right, we'll just get in at halftime and make the adjustments, those games are gone. Because after this, it's you got one more, and then it's, 4 straight 5A games against 4 really good 5A teams. Beatable teams, but good teams. They cannot come out slow tonight.
No doubt about it. You know, we talked to Coach Jennerette, West Florence's head coach, all season, in an interview, and he talked about, having big games at home now. So for years, Rob, Florence, the schools played all in one kind of district stadium. They all play the same place. They finally got their own stadium last year, so they're excited to get some big games there at their own place. But, we always talk about special teams in close games like this. In West Florence's last game before the bye, they had a blocked punt for a touchdown and a kickoff return for a touchdown.
Beaver Ball!
So if you get one of those in a game like this, could flip the script.
Sure.
I think Burns, a little more talent, should win this one, but it will be a heck of a test, heck of a battle down there in Florence.
Yeah,
tonight.
the vocal cord is going to get stretched tonight, I am sure. River Bluff visits Dorman. Dorman U is 4-0, but River Bluff is 5-0. And have a running back that is just, he's got smoke coming off the back of the spikes. Talk to me about that one.
Cooper Johnson is a really, really good tailback for River Bluff. They haven't been really tested yet, I would say. Offensively, they ran for 341 last week, so they get it done on the ground for sure. Dorman had a big win over Clover. Foster and Lewis are really carrying the load there for those guys offensively. Talley's playing well as well behind Anderson and Geth. The defense, Rob, they gave up 300-plus to one receiver last week against Clover. So you would think that maybe if you're going to beat Dorman, you have to throw it against them. The problem is River Bluff doesn't really do that. Their quarterback, a young kid, a sophomore, has only thrown the ball 10-plus attempts in, I think, 2 of their 5 games so far.
Is it an unusual year? Because Wren started a true quarterback freshman last week. I've seen a number of teams with sophomores. Is it unusual this year to have this many underclassmen starting at quarterback, or is this pretty common for the area?
I think you're right. This year, we've seen a bunch of turnover. We lost a lot of really good players last year from that quarterback spot, so we do have some younger folks in there. But yeah, I think it's just how it is that they get in after 2-3 years to grow up, and then it's time for somebody new. And I think this year is just kind of that rotation year. It seems like.
All right, let's talk St. Joseph's 5-0. They're at Southside Christian, coming off of a double bye, so an opportunity for Southside Christian to maybe heal up a little bit, get some of the bruises knocked out, but also the potential for a little ring rust for a team looking for its first win.
Yeah, the Sabres are 0-3, but don't let that record fool you. They're probably one of the better teams in 1A. They're scheduled really tough. They scheduled a 2A school and then also a bunch of out-of-state schools there. Quarterback Jim Corey Martin's a really good player, along with Michael Wright Woodfield on defense. St. Joe's has a quarterback, Walker Wood. Really good running the ball there, really special there. And they got a linebacker, Rob, one of my favorite names in the upstate, Johnny Jaruzelski. Had 16 tackles against Seneca 2 weeks ago. This is going to be a whale of a ball game, a region matchup here. That 1A region is loaded with Christchurch, St. Joe's, and Southside Christian. This game will go a lot to kind of determine if Southside Christian is normal Southside Christian or not, and just how good St. Joe's is.
And Fort Dorchester 2-2. They are at Gaffney. Fort Dorchester, big win last week, 48-6, but Gaffney went 28-7 over Northwestern in that one, playing pretty good defense.
Fort D's quarterback might not play. We've heard conflicting reports. He didn't play last week. I think a shoulder issue.
Give me that name, by the way.
Zoltan Osborne.
Great name.
Yeah.
Zoltan.
Really good. Rob, you love it. He's got the flowy hair, too. It's a great look.
Oh, he's a Zoe guy.
It's a great
He's
look.
a Zoe guy.
It's a great look. But he may be in, may be out. If he's playing, they have a shot. If he's not, I don't think they do. Gaffney's starting to figure it out. A freshman tailback. The McDowell kid's playing well for them. Loftus, obviously, at quarterback, is getting it done. But the defense is what's carrying those guys. But they're getting right just before region play, it seems.
All right, Wren at Hillcrest. Interesting. No turnovers so far this season for Hillcrest. Wren probably outclassed again, but I got to give them as well as Greer a lot of props because both of those teams threw every punch they had at Burns. Does Wren have any crack tonight?
I don't think so. They always play a tough schedule. They played TL Hanna. They've played, obviously, Burns, a bunch of other big schools. Hillcrest, coming off a tough win over Powdersville last week, a really good ball game there. But they're just too strong in all phases, I feel like. They do something big, either special teams or defense every game, along with the offense that just keeps rolling. And that no turnovers mark through 5 games is a huge number for me. That Rams team is really good.
Kevin Thomas is one of the hosts of the Moving the Chains podcast. You can find them on their website at movingchains.com. No G in there. That is the same for their Facebook page, their Twitter, and their Instagram. And their podcast is available wherever major podcasts are found. And, of course, if you're on Twitter, after the games tonight, they do their Twitter spaces, and they give you high school scores and results from around the state and talk to coaches and players who pop in there. Kind of a cool thing if you're on Twitter at Moving Chains. Appreciate you, big fella.
Appreciate you, Rob.
What game you out tonight?
River Bluff at Dorman.
There you go. Dorman U. We'll be there in a couple of weeks for Burns at Dorman. Looking forward to that. Back after this for the third and final hour of the Rob Brown Show on the Fan Upstate. Nice, man.
Good stuff.
Yeah, appreciate you, brother.
Oh, man.
What's their stadium like?
I haven't been because it just opened last year. So I've not even been there.
So, Josh, to address your request, faders only go up so loud, and if someone turns their head a lot, then the volume doesn't stay consistent. Now, I could walk over and just like hold his head, but I don't think he'd be agreeable to that. I was noticing that on ESPN, I think yesterday, Damian Woody was on something. He kept turning his head to talk to, I think it was like the morning show kept turning his head. And when you turn your head, the microphone don't pick you up as well. You're welcome. Trust me, I would like to have turned them up more, but it's more inconsistency than it was volume. Yeah, he's pretty bad. And then he probably blames his producer, because that's usually what happens. We are the dregs of society. That's what the Upstate Pulse is for.
How do you feel, by the way, about October 8th?
You know where I'll be. So I mean,
I know, but I'm asking, are you good for a
yeah.
hours afterwards?
I'm good.
Okay.
I'm good.
I think the goal for us will be playing by 9:30, be wrapped up by midnight, or whenever we hit the nearest stopping point
Yeah.
at midnight.
That works for
A
me.
couple minutes after, but I think if we can be rolling by 9:30 and done at midnight.
But there were some problems last time.
Yeah,
so.
we didn't get
also
started
some things
until
that we
almost
still
10
need to
o'clock.
work out.
Yeah.
But
And once we get to where there's less questions about what does this do, what does that do for each individual character, it should flow a little more smoothly.
I would just like to fight something. So
Yes, you will be fighting something.
and I probably will die immediately, but that's
hope not.
okay.
How many what's your? I don't know off the top of your head. What's your hit points? Do you know? Top of your head?
I don't remember, but it was frowned upon by you and Chris. So
Because you didn't have enough.
no, because I had too much.
No, because you didn't. Because no, it was because your AC was like 18 out the gate. It
Yeah.
wasn't your HP. It was your armor that we were like, that's a lot for a level 3 character.
But it's because I have a bunch of
Right.
quantifiers or whatever they are, a bunch of
modifiers.
where I am mixed race and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, we looked it up and it was all right. So you if you die, it's because you ran into an army and decided to try to Hulk.
That's what I
But
do.
you are
Yeah.
technically a barbarian. So
Yeah, well, no, not really.
you're
I'm a half
paladin,
elf.
but you're built as a barbarian.
Yeah, I'm a holy warrior,
Or
dude.
Andre
I am a
Rogers.
holy warrior. That's what I
Holy
do.
warrior. You know what, Skrilla? I actually like that idea. I actually really like that idea. I would listen to that.
Like I said, Upstate Pulse, we're already
I really
kind of
like that
doing
idea.
that.
No, I want you guys to talk about like actually producer stuff, like co-host producer stuff.
You know what? That would last like one episode.
I don't think it would.
Yeah.
I know you'd gripe at me today. You're all up at me today.
No, it's the opposite. I'm just defending myself.
The third, the final, the best, the money hour of the Rob Brown Show goes now. This is the Fan Upstate. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Rob Brown, the great one, Lonzo, with you today. Be a part of the show. Phone lines are open at 844-FAN, phone 844-FANFO, and 844-326-3663. Can also text the radio broadcast by shooting your text to 71307. Start your text with FAN, F-A-N. Start your text with FAN, F-A-N, and we will read them on the air. A couple of texts that have come in so far. Fan. I'm a Florida State fan and a realistic fan, knowing we don't have a chance. But come on, bro, LOL. That's what I'm saying. I expect my team to improve. And the only way to improve is to call out what you can improve on. Texas says, not to sound like Brick from Anchorman, but I don't know what you're arguing about. Loud noises!
By the way, I still don't know what we were arguing about, but it was fun for Rob, I think.
It was fun for me. It was. Texas says, Ohio State and Georgia are the only two teams so far that have not struggled. Geez, crown them now. Happy to. Happy to. One of those two teams is your national champion. I will text her. I will lay down a beer bet with you right now.
And I would prefer the team whose shirt I'm wearing right now.
Oh, I'm sure
but,
that you would.
Yeah.
But Georgia's that good. Text her. I've got your number. I will go beer bet right now. Ohio State or Georgia wins the title this year. Happy to make that bet. They are that much better than everybody else. They just are. Fan. Clemson generally gets better as the year goes on. Dabo wants them to be playing their best ball as they enter the postseason. And I'm not. Oh, I got to go find the end of that text. He says, as they get better, and I'm not sold on Ohio State. They struggle with Notre Dame, and we all know how good Notre Dame is. I feel they are no worse than Ohio State. Bama and Georgia are a different story, but Lonzo is wrong. Clemson can definitely play with Ohio State.
By the way, that's funny. And I had a conversation with someone who's native to the area the other day, and there was someone in here from Georgia who I was training, and I asked them why they hated Ohio State, and they didn't know. And what I pointed out, it's hereditary. It's passed down from generation to generation. If you are born here in this area of South Carolina, in the shadows of Clemson, you are taught to hate Ohio State.
The whole SEC hates you too.
That's
Just
fine.
so you know.
But not with they will give you a reason.
Yes, they will.
Yeah, but the Clemson fans, they don't. They don't.
Texter says Ohio State isn't ready to step on the field with Michigan.
We'll find out at the end of the season.
Yes,
And both teams undefeated, both ranked pretty high. This is how you want your rivalry to be. It would be awesome if Michigan and Ohio State play each other undefeated
with a playoff berth on the line.
Everything on the line.
Big Ten championship, playoff berth.
Everything.
Oh, yeah. That's what you want. Texter says, Rob, U.S. men's national team sucks. The defense has more holes in it than a net. They have no offense, can't hold position, just hot garbage. Yeah, they were today. Absolutely. Now, the question mark is, do you chalk that up to bad tactics? Do you chalk that up to players not giving effort? Or do you chalk that up to we just don't have the talent? In my opinion, we've got the talent to play with Japan. I don't think we had our best lineup up there. And that's what I'm worried about, right? Greg Berhalter got interviewed by ESPN after the match, a 2-0 defeat to Japan, and said he did not see personality out of the players. What's that mean? It means he didn't see guys that were out there going, I am trying to make a World Cup squad right now. I am trying to rep the flag in the World Cup, and I agree with that as well. Texter says, Rob, make sure you go by and see Pedro down there south of the border. Lonzo's been trying to sell me on seeing a giant sombrero all day.
Yeah, you got to see that. You absolutely do. And
Look,
you can pull into the parking lot and go, okay, and then pull right back out. You could. But you won't do that. You will get out. I guarantee you'll get out.
Here are the 4 things between me and Florence. I'm leaving my house between 1 and 1:30. It's a 3-hour drive to get there. That gives me roughly, Zoe, an hour to pushing it an hour and a half of playtime between here and Florence to see and do. Here are the things that are on the list for me. 96, the Revolutionary War Fort, which still stands. Darlington Speedway, south of the border, and there's a Buc-ee's right outside of Florence.
See, I saw that Buc-ee's and I never stopped last time we went to the beach because I don't know what it is.
It's a Walmart meets gas station meets Amazon warehouse. It's
so popular. It makes me think that if I go in there, I will immediately be disappointed.
You won't be.
That people are like, oh yeah, have you been there? I really like it.
You won't
and
be.
then you go in and go, okay, you just did that because that guy said that.
You won't be. I've been to a Buc-ee's before. I haven't been to this Buc-ee's, but I've been to a Buc-ee's. They're ridiculous.
You could probably go there and do south of the border because they're both on the way.
So as a sports guy, do I go see Darlington Speedway or do I go to south of the border and see a giant papier-mâché sombrero?
There's a chance. I mean, there's a chance, depending on traffic and all that, you could probably do all 3. But Darlington will take you the longest and will capture your attention the most and be the biggest possibility about why you're late to the game.
Fair enough. I mean, I'm building myself an hour and a half of playtime. Darlington, I think, would eat up the entire hour and a half because you got to go 20 minutes north out of your way in 20 minutes. That's 40 minutes. That leaves me 25 minutes to actually see the racetrack.
You can jump in Buc-ee's, get you a drink, look around. You can jump out to south of the border, take a picture with a sombrero. Then you're back on. You're ready to go.
Do I save Darlington for a race? Do I just not see Darlington until I go see a race there?
Well, yeah.
I think that's the way to handle it. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Friday, and you know what that means.
Time for Lonzo to lose again. Yay.
You almost had me last week.
Did I? I lost by 2.
You almost had me last week.
How did I almost have you when I lost by 2?
The Saints almost had you. And what was the one game that screwed you up real late? There was one more. That was basically the difference. But the Saints should have had you.
Well, the Buffalo, was it Buffalo, I think, maybe?
Maybe. No, it was Tennessee. Tennessee getting smoked by, I guess that was a Buffalo game. Tennessee getting smoked by Buffalo. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for our weekly Boo Box Bets selection. This is week number 4. Lonzo is 0-3 in Boo Box weeks so far.
Just 2 more, and then you guys won't get to see me suffer anymore.
As it stands right now, we are coming off of a week in which Rob went 6-4. Lonzo went 4-6. We were like a Saints field goal away from both being 5-5, having a push. Instead, I come up plus on the plus side of 500. Lonzo 1 game behind it. On the season, Rob Brown is 4 games up, 17-13 on the season. Lonzo had an atrocious week 2 where he went 2-8 on the weekend. That dropped him into a hole he's got to start climbing out of. He is 11-19 on the season right now.
I'm curious. The first year you were here with Diesel. How did he do on this sort of thing?
I want to say he hovered just below 500.
Okay. All
so
right.
you have you have a good 7-3 week, and you'll be right there in the mix. Right there in the mix. I mean, you have 2 7-3 weeks, you're back to 500. That's what you're going for.
Yeah, it might be what I'm going for. I don't care if you count it. I'm going on vacation. I don't like these picks. But I'm going to try to be a little more realistic this time and not do what I did last week, which was pretty much almost we picked different on a lot last week.
We did. We're very close.
And it wasn't that far apart as it could have been.
It really wasn't. So the games are written out. There are 10 of them, 5 college, 5 National Football League. And it is time to get our picks in. Lonzo, spaces or laces for the first pick?
Why don't you do it?
All right, I'll go spaces. I will go spaces. Ball is spinning. And it is laces. You are up first, pal. Clemson is -7.5 at Wake Forest. They've got to win by 8 or better, looking for that first complete start-to-finish game. Who you like in this one, Zoe?
All right, Clemson doesn't need to have a great start-to-finish game to beat Wake. They are going to cover. Clemson is a better team. Clemson is a far better team than any team in the ACC. They're definitely going to cover this.
So you are going with the Tigermans in this one. They've got to win by 8 or better at this point. I think it's a good game, but I'm not so convinced. I think Wake Forest offense can do enough to get points on the board. Defensively, Wake is not good. I think Clemson outright wins this game. If this was 6.5, I'd feel a lot better about it. I am going, and I'm playing this one risky, and I'll acknowledge it. I'm going Wake Forest inside the spread. I think it's going to be a closer game than we'd like. Give me the Demon Deacons to lose outright, but be within the spread. Let's go on to game number 2. Notre Dame is on the road. They are at North Carolina. Come on and raise up. The Tar Heels welcome in the Irish. 3 weeks ago, I'd have told you I thought the Irish were going to dog walk North Carolina. Turns out, Notre Dame not that good. North Carolina are 1.5 point favorites in this game. Drake May has been playing good football, but Josh Downs, UNC's top receiver, has missed the last 2 games with a lower body injury. Reports are that he will be available for this game. The question mark is going to be, will he be 100% out of missing a handful of games? North Carolina has one weapon here that I don't think is going to be taken into consideration by the big dogs. Ben Kiernan is their punter, second in college football in net punting average yards of 51.3 per boot. North Carolina has a weapon that can flip the field on Notre Dame. Give me the Tar Heels at home -1.5.
Yeah, Notre Dame, they really miss that Kelly guy a bunch, don't they?
A little bit.
Just, yeah. Yeah, I'm going with North Carolina to cover.
All
also.
right, so we're going to pick the same. Both of us got the Heels -1.5. College game day is in Knoxville, Tennessee this weekend, where the Volunteers host the Gators of Florida. Tennessee is a 10.5 point favorite in this one. The Volunteers have got to win by 11 or better. Lonzo, can they do it?
So they've got to win by 2 touchdowns, basically. I mean, you could throw in a safety in there or something and a field goal. This one's a hard one from an emotional standpoint because I want Florida to win all their games. It should be obvious why. And I've made fun of Tennessee forever about they're back. We heard Florida was back earlier. Apparently they're not.
Reports may have been premature.
They might have been. They've struggled with some teams they should not have struggled with. I do believe Tennessee's going to win this game. Now, whether they can win by that much.
11 or better.
I'm going to go with Rocky Top. I say the cover.
Good old Rocky Top. Rocky Top covers the spread. I agree with you on this one. Check this out. The Gators, 0-8 against the spread in their last 8 road games. 0-4 against their last 4 against teams with winning records against the spread, and 0-5 against their spread in their last 5 conference games. The home team, 5-2 against the spread in the last 7 meetings, and the Volunteers have covered all 3 times this week. They will do it again this weekend. Tennessee up over Florida by 11 or better. Arkansas is at Texas A&M this weekend. Of course, the Aggies dropped that game against Appalachian State. But then they turned around and they beat a very game Miami football program. Well, the Hogs are underdogs in this one. Texas A&M, an even 2-point favorite in this one. They're at home, where they lost to Appy State. But they've also beat Miami in that one. All that being said, despite their sluggish start against Missouri State, Arkansas is the better team. And you're giving me 2 points? I'll take them. Don't want them. I'll take them anyway. Give me the Hogs +2 at Texas A&M.
Poor Jimbo. Arkansas runs all day. I'm going Arkansas.
All right. Well, so far, not a lot of split between us on these picks. Let's see if our last game does it for us. Charlotte, the 49ers, are in the Cola this weekend. They are 22.5-point underdogs to South Carolina. The Gamecocks have got to win by 23 or better. Lonzo, will they?
All right, so this is really a turning point in the season. Can South Carolina recover mentally from the beatdown that they took from Georgia last week? A team like Charlotte should be what help for what ails you. We're going to find out. This is where I think coaching comes into play, because I think coaching can bring you out of that funk, can build you up, can get you to where you kind of put Georgia behind you, you put Charlotte ahead of you, and the rest of the season ahead of you, which I think they're going to be able to do. I have went with South Carolina every single week. I have lost every single week when I've went with South Carolina. They're going to win this game, but I'm not going to pick them to cover.
Charlotte inside of 22.5, says Lonzo. Rob Brown says, not so fast, my friend. The interceptions from Spencer Rattler have got to stop. He's been throwing them against some decent defenses. This time, he is up against an overmatched, outgunned defense. Spencer Rattler, Lonzo, is throwing for 3 touchdowns. They're going to run for another 2. South Carolina covers 22.5 over Charlotte.
I hope you're right. I hope South Carolina gets me to 4, and then all I need is 1 more, and then I'm done.
We will find out. We will find out. Texture says, was that a raise up reference? Well done. Yes, it was. Thank you. Texture says 96. You can skip it. It's a field. I thought the fort was still there. Wasn't that the whole point? Like parts of the fort still there? Texture says go to Buc-ee's, and the Texter with a beer bet takes it. You got it, Texter. You're on. Remind me after Georgia wins the title, and I'll tell you who I got Georgia and Ohio State versus the field. Let's get our NFL picks in here, because in our next segment, it's It's performance time from the great one. Cincinnati, the Bengals, your defending Super Bowl losers, are 0-2. They are on the road. They are at the New York Football Jets. The New York Jets, as it stands right now, are currently sitting with a 1-1 record. They are at home, but they're 6-point dogs. So the Bengals got to win by 7 or better, and they will. They got to come off the snide at some point. This team's too good, even with that offensive line. The Jets' D-line is okay, not good enough to get there. Give me Joey Ice and the Bengals to do 7 or better over the gangrene.
I am really concerned that Joe Burrow, if he doesn't retire early, is not going to be able to walk or move. He's going to be so arthritic when he gets older. He is. He'll probably still look good, but he'll just be arthritic. It's hard to pick the Jets. It really is.
I know.
And I don't want to try to pick against you just so I can, not lose. I'm going with the Bengals also.
All right, we got a pair of bets in favor of Joey Ice. New Orleans is at Carolina, and the Saints are 2.5-point favorites at the Panthers this weekend. Zoe, you're up first.
All right, so if you want an extensive breakdown of this game, you need to download the podcast known as Views from Mint Street. We just dropped a couple from you can get the full podcast, or you can get the different segments, which are 3 different segments. Just go to wherever you get your podcast, make sure you download those, and you can get extensive not only of Rob and I picking this game and breaking down this game, but we also have a special guest from the
Jeff Nowak from Inside the Black and Gold podcast, the Odyssey New Orleans Saints podcast.
From the Saints side. So Panthers are going to cover.
Panthers cover.
Here's what's going to happen. They're going to realize, unlike what some people are saying, no, you can't give Christian McCaffrey the ball. He's going to get it 10 more times. He's going to get it 30. 30 is what you need. You get Christian McCaffrey the ball somehow 30 times, you win the game.
Saints defensive line, very good against the run. They stopped Leonard Fournette last week.
Jameis is broken.
Jameis is broken. You know who the backup for New Orleans is, by the way?
The rifle.
Andy freaking Dalton, ladies and gentlemen. Who the Saints gave up a draft pick to get, a compensatory pick to get Andy Dalton. I picked Carolina on our podcast yesterday. And then I thought about that game a lot last night. New Orleans covers this game. They win by a field goal. It's going to be a very close game. I think Carolina's going down to 3 consecutive last-minute field goals. Could you imagine the calamity? I'm taking New Orleans in the Boo Box bets, -2.5 to cover it up. I'll be at that game. Follow me on social media at The Rob Brown Show if you want to share along in the experience.
I can't wait to see what happens on these next 3 picks.
Buffalo, led by Josh Allen, is -5 at Miami, a Miami team that was down 3+ touchdowns and won the game in the fourth quarter against Baltimore. I hate picking this game because all of a sudden, the NFL's most accurate quarterback, Tua Tagovailoa, is owed some apologies, ladies and gentlemen, because the guy is blazing. That being said, great one, Josh Allen. Buffalo's next level right now. I love the Dolphins. I like watching them play. Give me Buffalo -5. Chance for the push here. No hook. Bills win this game by 10.
All right, we talked about crowning earlier. We should already crown the Buffalo Bills because of Josh Allen. Because he's the greatest quarterback to ever play the game, and his interceptions don't count because they weren't his fault. But he is going up against the most accurate quarterback in all of the NFL. So you got the best versus the most accurate.
Yep.
So this is a showdown for the ages. It has never happened before, nor shall it again. This amazing feat of football that we're about to see this weekend. Buffalo covers.
Buffalo covers. Lonzo on the Josh Allen train. I love it. Green Bay is at Tampa Bay. Tampa Brady -1.5. Bucks got to win by 2 or better, and they got to do it at home. Lonzo, you're betting lead off on this one.
All right, so the receivers have gotten a little bit better for Green Bay. They're actually catching the ball a little bit. But they also have a pretty good running game.
Mike Evans out for this game, remember?
They do, yes.
He is suspended.
I do remember that. And Tom Brady looking slightly emaciated the more as we go further into the season. I don't know if his thing ain't working anymore or what. His tablet throwing arm is still very effective. This is a low number. It really is. It is. You're counting on my hatred.
By the way, the Buccaneers had to go get Cole Beasley to come play wide receiver this weekend.
I like Cole Beasley, but he is kind of old. I liked him when he had the curly hair, though.
Yep.
That was crazy. It was like poodle hair. I'm going Green Bay. You're counting on my dislike of Tom Brady to cause me to bet a certain way, and you're right. I'm going Green Bay.
Lonzo going with the pack. I am going Tampa at home. I'm going Brady. Brady doesn't put together back-to-back bad performances. Brady had less than 200 yards passing and 1 touchdown last week against New Orleans, even with a banged-up wide receiver core missing Mike Evans. Leonard Fournette will run the ball. Green Bay is not exactly a bastion of excellence in the passing game right now. I will take Tampa at home -1.5.
Key to the game, someone on the defense for Green Bay needs to talk stuff to Tom Brady.
Just get in his head?
Yeah, and then
have him chunk in tablets?
Then one of his guys will try to fight one of your guys, and they'll be gone for the game.
There you go. Solid strategy. And we wrap it all up with the late Sunday nighter. Dallas at the New York Giants. The G-Men are 1-point favorites at home. No Dak Prescott. Cooper Rush will still be playing. I got to tell you, I don't like this pick. I don't like it. Not one bit. I am not excited about it. This is probably, it's just a straight up victory pick, right?
You know why you're not excited about it? Because if you pick some certain thing, then some certain team is going to be undefeated, and no one saw that coming.
Again, it would make Carolina look better.
It would.
And that's what I'm picking to happen. Give me the Giants. I think that at the end of the day, no matter what Dallas does offensively with Cooper Rush, Saquon Barkley is going to be the difference in this game. I will take the Giants to win by a field goal, and that's enough. Give me the G-Men.
I also am going with the Giants.
All right, there you go. So we are on the hook. Wake Forest taking on Clemson. The Tigers -7.5. I've got the Demon Deacs within there. Lonzo's got Clemson. Notre Dame at North Carolina. The Tar Heels 1.5-point favorites. We're both riding with the Baby Blue. Florida's at Tennessee. The Volunteers -10.5. We're both taking them to cover at home. Arkansas is at Texas A&M. The Aggies are -2 at home. Both of us taking the Hawks. Charlotte at South Carolina. Gamecocks 22.5-point favorites. I have got them to cover it. Lonzo taking the 49ers to lose, but inside of 22. Cincinnati -6 at the Jets. We're both taking the Bengals. Saints at Panthers. New Orleans -2.5. I've got them. Lonzo riding with the Panthers. Buffalo's -5 at Miami. We're both taking Josh Allen. Green Bay's at Tampa Bay. The Bucks are 1.5-point favorites. I've got Brady. He's got Rodgers. And finally, Dallas at the New York Giants. Giants 1-point favorites at home. And we're both riding with Big Blue in that one. We will give you the results coming up on Monday, but Lonzo won't be here, so we'll figure out if he does fall, how that punishment will work out later, because I don't feel like thinking about it right now.
We can double. I mean, if we have to, yeah.
You know what is about to happen, ladies and gentlemen.
No, you don't need to. By the way, the numbers are starting to drop off, and I don't blame you. If you were thinking of tuning out, this is the time to do it. Get your Friday going already. Start right now. Get on with your Friday.
Lonzo hates REO Speedwagon. Lonzo despises REO Speedwagon.
Not only do I despise them, I don't understand people who like them. I just don't get it. I think you guys it's a cult or something. How could you like REO Speedwagon?
Coming up
Air
next,
supply with an electric guitar. That's all they are.
Coming up next on the show, Lonzo graces us all with a performance live in studio.
I'm legitimately nervous right now because this is going to be so bad, and not only am I going to embarrass the station, I'm going to embarrass my family that live here and abroad. I'm just going to embarrass. I might embarrass my entire heritage by singing REO Speedwagon.
Lonzo gives us A beautiful rendition of REO Speedwagon's Take It on the Run when we come back on The Rob Brown Show and the Fan Upstate.
You know,
Take it on the run, baby. If that's the way you want it, baby.
if it was in that key, I would kill it.
Then I don't you around. All right, kids, we'll be right back with a stellar performance. Oh, I'm so excited, you guys. Nothing but positive, nothing but positivity for the great one on the chat. Nothing but positivity for the great one. We're all going to support him through this endeavor. Cannot wait.
This is going to be so bad. This is going to be so bad. I even showed up to work early to practice. And it's worse this morning than it was yesterday. So if at some point during this performance you realize how bad it is and you're willing to pull the plug, it still counts as punishment.
Uh-huh.
Even if I only make it through like the first part of the first verse.
7 words in.
Yeah.
That's enough of that.
I'm secretly hoping that management comes into the room before we get
To
started.
shut it down.
Yeah, just to say no. This is a sports show. No.
Oh, wow, wow, wow. Wow, 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 wow.
Really? Oh my God, why am I nervous? It's really about how bad it's going to be. You know, if I... Got to remember, I've sang "Am I a Man or Am I a Muppet" on the air before.
Are you more or less nervous about that?
No, I killed that. Because I was still mad because that lady. Remember what fueled that? That lady said, "Oh, like a Muppet." You don't remember? We were going over to do and the fact that even you looked up when you only half pay attention to me half the time, and you're just like, I mean, it was. So I had anger behind that. And then I built it up with a story that I knew would make me angry, that would get me to do it. And Pappy was the whole comedy of that thing anyway. So it was all serious just to get to him joining in on the chorus.
Like it.
I don't get any of that relief on this. I don't get any help on this. Oh, that would be great. You're right, James. Someone's entrance music hits 10 seconds into the song. Yeah, I'm good with the run in. Bring a run in. I'm good with it.
No run. I'm Tony Conning this segment. No run-ins without my approval.
No. If Hendricks is paying attention, run in. Run in and go, shut it down. Oh, crap, we're back.
You got the song queued?
I think so.
Just make sure there's no ads that are going to run on you when you start it.
Well, I had it queued.
Okay.
Man, I am nervous. I really am. Why are you jumping in early? You just jump in before the liner even plays.
Texter said, let's freaking go, Zo. Ladies and gentlemen, Lonzo is 0-3 in Boo Box Bets. He has drawn in week 1, wear a Clemson jersey. He did it. In week 2, rock a man bun for the show. And he did it. And in week 3, perform a live song that he does not like on the air. That's the challenge. Yesterday, I announced that Lonzo will be singing at the end of the show, End of the Road by Boyz II Men. But after we talked when we got off the air yesterday, effectively, Lonzo going for it in that song was going to wreck his voice. And he's got a lot of radio between here and next Monday when he starts his week-long vacation. So instead, to replace that song, I have selected a song by a band that Lonzo hates. Take It on the Run by REO Speedwagon. Because Lonzo's going on vacation. He's got a week to recover from this. Lonzo, the floor is yours.
I don't want the floor, okay? I don't want to do this. This is why you should never bet. I might need a gambling helpline right now. I might need that because I'm continuing to do this thing and I'm continuing to pay every single week. So here is my plea to the listener. If you're not turning it off, which you really should, if you're staying tuned, it's not my fault, okay? It's as bad as it's about to sound. It's not my fault.
You're just putting it off at this point.
I am. I'm legitimately nervous. I really am. I mean, if I were Rob, I'd be spinning the football right now.
I'm just waiting. I'm excited. I'm sitting back in the chair.
Well, I
should have made some popcorn for this.
I got to admit, I turned it on, but I didn't actually have the pot on.
Oh,
so
I got you. Okay.
So now I got to turn the pot on.
Okay.
So, and I'm gonna take it out of utilities, so we don't get flagged.
Those of you on the stream, you're getting the acapella version,
which will be even worse
Yeah.
than the. Yeah, sorry about that, but that's just how this thing works.
I do reserve the right to do the run in and cut at any point. I'm not going to, but I reserve that right.
Yeah, we'll see about that.
Yep.
And I want you to know, I'm trying my best.
Yeah, I'm here for it.
But sometimes your best is not good enough.
Are you going to stand so you get like full diaphragm expansion? Or?
It's not going to change it. It's not.
All right, I'm ready when you are.
I'm trying to get ready
Oh, I
here.
got you. Okay.
I'm trying to. Should I do like those exercises? Me. Yes, that's also known as Beaker. Yeah, James says, imagine if this is the highest rated segment of the station. If it is, the station's really in trouble. That's all I'm saying.
I'm not going to talk because I know dead air kills you. Oh, tell me it's not. No. Don't you? No. Don't you sabotage this. Don't you sabotage this. Is the volume up on the video player? There it
Heard
is.
it from a friend who... Heard it from a friend who heard it from another. You've been messing around. They say you got a boyfriend. You're out late every weekend. They're talking about you and it's bringing me down. But I know the neighborhood and talk is cheap when the story is good. And the tails grow taller on down the line.
Break it down!
And I'm telling you, babe, that I don't think it's true, babe. And even if it is, keep this in mind. You take it on the run, baby. If that's the way you want it, baby, then I don't want you around. 'Cause I don't believe it, not for a minute. You're under the gun, so you take it on the run. You're thinking up your white lies. You're putting on your bedroom eyes. You say you're coming home, but you won't say when. Sorry. Well, I can feel it coming. If you leave tonight, keep running. And you need never look back again, and you take it on. So too many words. You take it on a run, baby. If that's the way you want it, baby, then I don't want you around.
Bow, 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 bow.
'Cause I don't believe it, not for a minute. You're under the gun, so you take it on the run.
I love it. I love it.
By the way, your
it.
ears should be bleeding, because mine are, because this song, I hate this song.
Here we go.
No, we're not. It's a really long solo. I hope this is banned by Facebook and YouTube and caught on fire. He keeps waiting for it to come back in. It's a really long solo.
Bo said I turned it up to rock out, but I'm unsure if it's because I like Lonzo or just want to enjoy his misery.
Take it up. Oh, see, I even jumped in too
Yeah,
early.
it's all right. Texas said, hell yeah, Zoe, not terrible at all.
Yeah, it is. It's horrible. Take it on the run, baby. If that's the way you want it, baby, then I don't want you around.
Bow, 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 bow.
'Cause I don't believe it, not for a minute. You're under the gun, so you take it on the run. Heard it from a friend who heard it from a friend who heard it from another. You've been messing around.
Fantastic.
I hate you right now.
Fantastic. That was surprisingly better than I thought it was going to be fine. Surprisingly better than I thought it would be.
I did make one mistake other than being horrible. Is usually when you do this, you take you take one of your phones off your ear so you can hear your own voice. I actually was able to hear better near the end when I put both ears. Nah, no, I didn't.
You nailed it.
I did not.
Texters.
Stop it. All you people with your praise, I don't believe you. It stunk. The people who, Lester, my ears are bleeding. Yes, I agree with you.
Trey said, loved it. Lester said, we must replay this on the Pulse. James says, you still got it. Keegan says, look at that range. Texter says, some of that was very good and some of that was terrible. It was the best of both worlds. Texter says, pretty sure 90% of your listeners are singing along with Zoe. I am.
I hope not.
Texter said, hell yeah, Zoe, not terrible at all. Good job. Texter said, all caps, friggin' fantastic. Texter said, go Lonzo, heck yeah. Texter said in back-to-back text. Text 1, Lonzo got some pipes. Text 2, okay, I take it back.
I completely agree with you.
Texter said, Zoe stalling is great. I am rolling laughing right now. Texter said, lighter is in the air. Let's go, Zoe. Texter says, let's freaking go, Zoe. Fantastic. Ladies and gentlemen, the great one, Lonzo. You know, if REO Speedwagon comes back to town next year and their lead singer is out, Lonzo, I feel like you've got a crack at it, my guy. Outstanding effort. Well done.
Stop it.
I really hope I don't play a song on the air because I can't compete with that. That was most excellent, my man.
It was not.
Texter said, Lonzo converted me into an REO Speedwagon fan. What a great voice.
All right, that is the worst text that I've heard. No, don't use me to convert to. No, don't be a fan of that band.
Hurricane Jeff says, I was singing the harmonies for you, Zoe.
Yeah, I needed it. Thank you.
Texter says, very impressed with Pork Chop's falsetto.
Old school right there. Thank you.
Texter said, I had my phone camera flash on and held in the air. Texter said, once again proves Mark Ryan is wrong about Lonzo being antisocial. Anyone willing to do this is an antisocial. That was pretty good. It was pretty good.
As far as that goes, there's one other guy in the room.
Listen.
He hears me break out into Goofy song in the middle of nowhere all the time.
I've heard that. I would tell you this. If I was at, and you know I hate a karaoke bar, if I was at a karaoke bar and you pulled out that rendition, you would not be the most hated guy in the room by Rob Brown.
Wow. I'd be like number 2, but still.
No, you'd be mid-pack. Mid-pack. Texture says, Rob, if you do lose and have to sing, Lonzo laid it down. You've got big shoes to fill. Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do.
The problem is I don't know anything that you don't like. So, I mean, it would be very difficult for me to come up with something. But, you know, I know people who might know, and I will talk to those people.
Fair enough. There's not really much I don't like.
I know, that's a problem.
Not really much I don't like. Josh Skrilla says, standing ovation out here in the mountains of Pickens. You're awesome, Zoe. I was singing along out here with you. And Keegan said, Miss Lisa texted, said, you need to come on home, Lonzo.
No, what Lisa would say is you could do better than that. That's what she would say.
I freaking loved it, dude.
By the way, Lisa can sing anything. So, I mean,
freaking loved it.
Whatever.
I loved it. I hate going to break. I just want to keep talking about that rendition of REO Speedwagon.
Yeah, I'll take us to break. I don't have a problem with that.
Then I don't want you around. Ba-ba-bow, bow, wow, wow. Fantastic job, Lonzo. Very well done. I am genuinely impressed. Very well done. We'll wrap it up when we come back on the Rob Brown Show. James said on the next Faces and Heels, anyone that hated that is the heel. Lonzo's healing for himself. Wrapped up the week next on the Rob Brown Show on the Fan Upstate. So that was good. That was high quality karaoke. High quality karaoke.
I apologize. I know how bad it was. I am so sorry. Not only that I did so poorly, but that I was forced to sing that song.
It was fantastic. I thought it was great.
What are you doing? No. No.
Trey, you maniac.
I wouldn't sing with those guys that are older than me.
You maniac, Trey. Outstanding effort. Outstanding effort. That is great. That's greatness. That's greatness. Oh, man, I love it. That was really, it was good. It was genuinely good.
No, it wasn't.
I would tell you if it wasn't. I hate karaoke. That was good.
The new Elias. Yeah. Now that I'll agree with. It's about right there with Elias. Who also, well, anyway. I know I'm not the greatest singer, but I recorded 3 albums. All the vocals on all 3 of those albums are a whole lot better than that.
I am really, really glad.
It's not the best key, but it's not the worst key. It
was good.
No, if I destroyed that song and people were legitimately, because I don't believe any of you're all liars. If you went, oh my gosh, that was really good, that would be different. But I know it's not in the right key. But still, I think most people when their favorite songs are songs that they can sing along with and actually hit. That is not a song that I could sing along with and actually hit.
You were right in the pocket. Right in the pocket.
The last line of the chorus was really difficult because I wanted to go lower and I could go lower, but it doesn't fit the song. And I couldn't hear. That's what the first chorus, I couldn't hear the background vocals. That's why I had to when I put my other headphone on, I was like, okay, I can hear the background now. I can hide there. They couldn't afford Lorenzo, Josh. And now I definitely need a vacation. I'm glad Lisa wasn't listening. At least I believe she wasn't. If she was, she would have commented. Listen, I appreciate everybody who's complimenting me and doing. You're just doing all this to make me feel better because you know, like I do, how bad that was. I mean, I appreciate it. I appreciate all the love coming my way. I wish Chris Evans would have been in this room because he's the only one who's ever honest with me in this entire building, and he would have told me how bad it was.
It really was not bad.
Keegan, that file was corrupted as it was being recorded. Are you kidding? We have ways of making things happen. I just hope the clients that I have to go down and record here in about an hour were not listening.
Why would they not immediately be big fans?
No.
Big fans.
No, because they will make fun of me. One of them will particularly. And he's one of those guys that will cut on you, and it hurts, but it's so funny you also appreciate it.
Texter said, Rob having to rap would be hilarious.
Rob has rapped on stage. I've seen it.
Lonzo, when it comes Rob's time to sing, Rob has to do You Never Even Call Me By My Name by Waylon Jennings. Can you imagine Rob with his New England accent singing classic country?
You have a New England accent that you play around with. I think that's what they mean. No, I will find some old hymn or something. You know, I will find something.
It can't be like opera music.
Hymns are not opera music.
No, I know, but like something like Ave Maria. Don't drop that on me.
No, it's not like I'm going to ask you to sing the Old Rugged Cross or something. I will come up with something.
Texas says Zoe will be playing the piano tonight after Miss Lisa heard that.
You don't get the joke?
I don't.
Yeah.
I was just about to ask, is that a euphemism?
It is on the Tara show, yes. On WORD.
Okay.
Yes, it is.
I assumed that, but I wanted to clarify. And Texter says, was really actually impressed, Alonzo. Safe travels today, Rob. Thank you very much, Texter. Appreciate that.
So when someone, I'm not being mean here, but if you're impressed by that, that means your expectations were so low and I went beyond them. It was bad. It was.
It really wasn't.
It was bad.
It really wasn't.
It was truly punishment. Not the worst punishment I've had to take, by the way, because I don't care if you think I'm wimpy. My hair still hurts.
Don't think I'm wimpy, but my head is sore from a haircut. All right.
It wasn't a haircut. It was all my hair squeezed on top of my head into a stupid looking bun.
Look, it was good. You don't have to like that it was good, but it was good. But it was good.
I don't want it to be good. Yes, I agree with Tim Frisbee. Stop losing bets, Lonzo. Exactly. Because this has just turned into Torture Friday. That's all it is.
At SC Ryan Frick wrote in and said, man, he didn't sound terrible, dude. Good sport taking that punishment from the Rob Brown show. I didn't give him that punishment. He drew that punishment. So we'll see what happens come Monday.
All I know is I'm on vacation.
Jim Rome's up next in the jungle. Mark and Deese will take you offsides at 3. I'll be back at 7 with some Birds of Rebel football live from West Florence High School in Florence, South Carolina. Pre-game at 7, kickoff at 7:30. Make sure you download and subscribe to the Views from Mid-Street podcast. We dropped a new episode earlier this morning. It is our preview episode of the game against the Saints. Jeff Nowak of WWL AM/FM and the Inside Black and Gold podcast joined us to give us the New Orleans perspective on that game. If you will be at the game on Sunday, shoot me a tweet at The Rob Brown Show or an email, rob.brown@thefanupstate.com. I'll be up there with the family on Sunday. Lonzo will be there as well. We'd love to come by. We'll maybe pop by a tailgate or 3. So hit us up, rob.brown@thefanupstate.com, and we'll see if we can make it work. Y'all have a great weekend. Don't drink and drive. I will punch you in the face. We'll also see you back here at 7 o'clock for Burns Rebels football. For Lonzo, I'm Rob. Have a great weekend, baby. Take it on the run. You're under the gun, so you take it up. See you Monday, folks. The Rob Brown Show's on the Fan Upstate. Later, brother. All right, dudes and dudettes. Lonzo's singing should not be taken out of the boo box.
Stop it,
He
Trey.
literally ripped it up as soon as he drew it. Let's see. Lonzo, I am terrible at karaoke. Rob has told me to my face, in which I said, so come up here and sing. You were great, for real, for real. I mean,
Thank you.
when you're bad, you're bad. I'll tell you you're bad. You want to know, don't you? Wouldn't you rather somebody tell you, hey, man, that sucked. Don't
No,
ever do it
no.
again?
My concern is if someone gets wind of it, they will play it on their show and make fun of it, and it will tick me off. That's my concern.
Well, good thing you didn't say that on the air.
Yes. Then no one here would let that person know.
I definitely will not. I don't need a ticked
I'm
off
talking about
producer.
you.
Oh, okay.